originally scheduled at this time will not be seen in order that we may bring you World Hockey.
From Munich, Germany, the 1983 Labatt's World Hockey Championships. We'll be right back with live coverage.
Play the provincial, it's fabulous fun. You'll love that.
Thousand surprises every week to be won.
Our $5 ticket, and it's good for 5 draws.
Friday could be your day. Good luck could come your way.
Play the provincial, the weekly provincial. Yes, sir.
500,000 is the weekly grand prize.
You'll love it.
Instant prizes up to $5 grand in size.
So when you need a ticket, better get one today.
For the provincial lottery.
We're at the CTV Control Center in Toronto. We will be throwing in a matter of minutes to Munich, West Germany. Bernie Pascal and Ron Rouge standing by for the play-by-play of Canada's first game in the championship round at the World Hockey Championships against Czechoslovakia. And Tom, I think it's worth noting that for the first time in a while, Canada is not, they've not given up on the gold and the silver in the running for the bronze. We actually have a chance at the gold this time.
Well, that's true. After the first round-robin series of 7 games, Canada is now in the medal round, and what went on before is really meaningless. The 4 teams that are left, Canada, the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, and Sweden, it now depends for the medal standings and how well they do in the second round-robin. And I think it's worth noting, too, that Italy, who ended up on the bottom of the first round-robin series, will be relegated to the B pool next year. And the United States, who won the B pool championship in Japan earlier this year, will get a chance to get back into the A pool next year and defend their Olympic gold medal at Sarajevo. And that's very important for the United States team, because there was a chance that they wouldn't be able to get back to defend the gold medal, which was such an exciting win over the Soviets in Lake Placid in 1980. So it was very important that they were able to get that B championship.
Traditionally, Canada gets stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on, so obviously this change, starting from ground zero in the medal round, is a big boon for Canada.
Well, that's exactly right, but one of the problems that we always have is the fact that what happens in the previous round, of course, is that we add players, and it's tough to get the people over there. Now, the Soviet Union won all of their games in the first round, having 14 points. Canada losing 2 and having 10 points, but as we said, these are really meaningless. All this really means is that those teams are now going in, the first 4 teams are going into the medal championships.
Okay, let's talk about today's game. The Czech team that we will be seeing today is not the same very strong team that Canadians were used to seeing in the middle 70s, and yet they do still play a similar style.
Well, that's true. The Czechoslovakian style is a very technical style. One of the things that certainly characterizes Czechoslovakian play is the fact the amount of blocks and picks that they use in all areas of the ice. Now, for North American players, they sometimes think that that's interference, and the typical reaction might be to, when they're blocked trying to chase a puck carrier or something, that they may take a two-hander, and of course the official sees that, not the original block, and they're in the penalty box. And the Czechs are masters at the picks and the blocks in all areas of the ice, and that's something that we can watch for today. But there's been a great change in the Czechoslovakian team since 1978. All of their veteran players, the Stasnys, the Dvořáks, the Abermans, the Pozars, the Makashes, and so on, that we were so familiar with in the late 70s, they've had a tough time with all those players sort of either retiring or playing in the National Hockey League or going to play in other places in Europe, and they haven't really been able to replace them. The younger team that started in '79 in Moscow in World's Championships right up until the present time has struggled a little bit, and the Czechoslovakian team is not certainly the power that they were before.
Their play stays the same. Canada's play this time has not been characteristic of their play in the past.
No, I think that we're beginning to learn that that discipline is very important, and if you're fouled or you think that you are fouled, you have to sort of bite the bullet and take that, because taking penalties and that type of hockey is something that you can't do. Discipline is very important.
We've known that for years and years and years, but this year it's different. What is the reason? Is it the mix of the players, or is it maybe the coach?
I think it starts, obviously, with the manager and the coach of the team, Sam Pollock, and Dave King, and Dave King is experienced. In fact, we have to give Dave King a pat in the back because Canada's only gold medal in international play in the last decade or decade and a half, certainly, came in the World Junior Championships 2 years ago. I mean, that was probably the most exciting thing that's happened in Canadian hockey internationally in quite some time. And I think that he had a great insight into what was necessary in order to play that type of hockey, and I think it's carried over with the players that comprise the team that he has. I think that he's selected players, some of which have international experience, but I think the general manager and coach have selected players who they thought were disciplined and had the ability to play in this type of hockey. Dennis Maruk, a very fast player with Washington, a 50-goal scorer, someone who can skate and certainly play the international game and is not necessarily all that rough a player. Michel Goulet, of course, everybody forgets how many goals he gets. He's kind of the unknown player beside the Stastnys in Quebec, and he can certainly skate quickly. Another fast skater, Mike Gartner, very, very quick. You know, this whole team, all of the forwards have been selected mainly because of their speed. They also have the good mix of the veteran, Daryl Sittler, who's had international experience, and I think just his maturity is going to help that team. John Anderson, another quick forward, a person who can score goals, is dangerous when he's on the ice, doesn't have all that much experience internationally, but his speed will hold him in good stead. Another good goal scorer, somebody that can is dangerous around the net, also has speed, and Brian Propp. And of course, he's playing with his teammate as a center in Daryl Sittler. Marcel Dion has played for many, many teams internationally. He is certainly familiar with the problems of international hockey. He's been to Europe many, many times to play. Charlie Zimmer is one that certainly is a very, very dangerous goal scorer. I would question Charlie. I'd be interested to see whether his speed can keep up with the play. And of course, Dave Taylor, although bothered with injuries this year, came back to play outstanding hockey at the end of the year, and it's a tribute to them that they're all at the championships. Bob Gainey, of course, one of the best skaters in the National Hockey League, and certainly the winner of the Selke Trophy is the best defensive player in the league on numerous occasions, is an outstanding addition. Paul Reinhardt, a very good young defenseman with Calgary, and he played a little bit with our Olympic team in 1980 before turning pro. Tim Waters, I know a little bit about him, and Tim was with us on the Olympic team in 1980 and has lots of international experience. Scott Stevens, here's a guy that's really in the running for the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year. He had an outstanding season with Washington from Kitchener, Ontario, a very good young performer on defense. Brian Engblom, one of his partners with Washington, and I think that Dave King has done a good job pairing up players that Engblom is playing with Stevens, their teammates. Craig Hartsburg, of course, one of the better offensive defensemen in the National League, carries the puck, is very important on Minnesota's power play on the point. Ricky Lance, another point man and offensive player with the Vancouver Canucks. Rick Lance, along with Doug Hallward, were the point men on a power play that was very good this year in Vancouver. Rick Walmsley, a young goaltender who I think is an outstanding young prospect. I know that he's been criticized from time to time with his play in Montreal, but I think he's outstanding. And then, of course, we have backing him up, we have the veteran from the Hartford Whalers, Mike Weiser, who has also had some international experience. Now, the team really is rounded out. There are amateurs that are playing along with Doug Hallward there. Shervin from Providence College, Jim Patrick from the University of North Dakota, and Pat Flatley. These players are players that, with the exception of Hallward, that are candidates for Canada's Olympic team next year in Sarajevo. So they've got the mix of the professionals that have international experience and young players that Dave King and Sam Pollock are making commitments to, trying to get them to play next year with Canada's Olympic team that's going to Sarajevo. And it's important that they get that experience this year.
Thank you, Thomas. We'll have more on the World Hockey Championships, Canada versus Czechoslovakia, when we come back.
Hello, 1, 2, 3. Which one are you on? Modulation?
Oh, that was...
Do-da, do-do-do-do-da, do-da, do-do-do-do-da. Jump in, take us way up high, lie back, see the world go by, a kaleidoscope of It's a dance across the sky. Blue smiles along with Judah. There we caught you smiling.
A couple of things very important, not only in the National Hockey League, maybe even more important in international play, goaltending and the power play. Let's talk about that first.
Well, one of the things that Dave King has done in the selection of the team is that if you look at the defensemen that he's got, the Hartsburgs, the Lances, the Hallwards, and so on, Reinhardt, were all very, very important to their own team, playing on the point on the power play. And I think that's one of the reasons that Paul Reinhardt is really with the team, because he had a very good season on the point for Calgary. Here we see him in the Soviets setting up a power play goal, slipping it to Lanny McDonald, who lets go a one-timer. And, of course, Kent Nilsson, as you always see him off the edge of the net there, getting one of the easiest goals perhaps of his career. But Paul Reinhardt was a guy who started things at the point by making the first little play. You notice when Paul Reinhardt got it to Lanny McDonald, he put it right on the stick side so that he could one-time it. And then, of course, just off the edge, there's the old lamplighter in Kent Nilsson. And Lanny McDonald, of course, had an outstanding season, but one of the reasons that he was able to score those power play goals was really the play from Paul Reinhardt at the point. And he's smart with the puck there. And you have to remember, too, that the other point men, Hallward and Lance, this year, Vancouver set a record this year with more power play goals than they've ever had in any season before, and they were the point men for that club.
Penalty killing, very important in international play, especially with that wide ice surface. What about facing the Czechs? What kind of approach do you use?
Well, I don't know what Dave King is planning to use, but I know when we were working with the Olympic team in 1980 against both the Czechs and the Soviets, we were very aggressive in our penalty killing, and I don't think that Dave King will be much different. I don't think you can just turn and pick up your wings and allow them to do whatever they want, because they're a very disciplined bunch, both the Czechoslovakian team and the Soviets. I think you have to go after them and forecheck them and try to delay them coming out of their own zone.
And King has the speed.
Well, certainly, and of course, someone like Bob Gainey is someone who really comes across and forces the play.
So we're about all set to go to Munich, Germany. We throw now to Ron Roosh with the play-by-play of today's game, Canada against Czechoslovakia.
Thanks very much, Dan, and welcome to the Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany. And there is Team Czechoslovakia making its appearance on the ice. It is evening here in Munich, West Germany, just after 8 o'clock Central European time. Canada is about to embark on its most serious quest of a World Hockey Championship gold medal in the 22 years since they last won it. That was the time they were represented by the 1961 Allen Cup champion Trail Smoke Eaters. We are into the medal round. What Canada must do is put together a 3-game winning streak. And starting tonight, again, the always aggressive Czechoslovakians, who are always difficult against Canada, will be the first team they'll have to beat to start the streak. Actually, the medal round started 3 hours ago when the Soviet Union and Sweden met. They are the other two medal round teams. Canada, of course, later on will be playing Sweden and the Soviet Union Sunday, or at least on Saturday and Monday, respectively. Well, the game between Sweden and the Soviet Union turned out to be another chippy affair, just as the first game was. And you're looking at Team Canada making its appearance to a great big hand here at the Olympia Halle. Team Canada, who have won 4 in a row and had to come from behind after early difficulties, just getting the team feeling together. Once they got that together, they've won 4 games in a row, and now are in position to go for it, as they're saying in the dressing room here at the Olympia Halle. So far as the game earlier this afternoon was concerned, 4-0. The Soviet Union defeated Sweden. They were led by the scoring leader in this tournament, Sergei Makarov, who had 2 assists in the game, and now in 8 games in the tournament has 7 goals and 7 assists for 14 points. Karutov with his 6th goal Kazatanov as well with 2 assists in the game. Actually, the goal scorers were Starikov along with Krutov. They got the 3rd and 4th goals for the Soviet Union. In the first period, it was Shluktov and Larionov. So 4-0. The Soviets off to another of their starts as they shut out the Swedes, led by the shutout goaltending of who else but Vladislav Tretiak, who has given up but 1 goal in 5 performances at World Tournament play so far. So that's the scene set. We're looking forward to a tremendous hockey game between these two. It was a good one last time as Canada came from behind to defeat Czechoslovakia 3-1 on 3 goals by Marcel Dion. And we'll be right back.
This is the time, Canada. Go for long tire life. Go for Michelin. This time, insist on Michelin quality. Insist on all the tire your money can buy. Now, more than ever, Canadians across the country know that when it comes to durability, it doesn't make sense to compromise. This is the time. This is the tire. This is the place. Michelin makes all the difference.
Back at the Olympia Hall, we're just about set to go. There you see Rick Walmsley in goal, as he has been throughout this tournament for Team Canada. The referee will be Pertti Juhala of Finland, Anatoly Baranov of the Soviet Union, and Gustavo Alamo on the lines. And with the play-by-play, here's Bernie Pascoe.
Thanks, Ron. Hello, everybody. Czechoslovakia in red against Team Canada in white. And the puck is brought in by Yuri Lala, one of the exciting forwards of Czechoslovakia, right in front. He scores! Yuri Lala opens the scoring after 14 seconds of play. Czechoslovakia, Yuri Lala, and it's 1-0.
Lala allowed to get away from his check in the corner and come straight out from the corner with that puck. There he is in against the boards. The puck is poked away, and he just whips away from the checking of Craig Hartsburg, and he put it right between the legs of Rick Walmsley. Canada in a hole early, as they were in the first game in this series against Czechoslovakia when they were down 1-0. There you see it, away from the checking and right between the legs of Walmsley. 1-0.
Now back to the action. Here's Anderson of Team Canada. He's knocked against the boards by Uvira. Uvira comes along the sideboards to get the puck, leaves it there for Igor Liba. Liba loses it to John Anderson. Anderson trying to get it to Sittler in front. Here's Anderson again. The puck gets away from him. Team Canada's Daryl Sittler. He's squeezed off the play, and the Czechoslovakians come out. It's brought up to the center ice area, and Vincent Lukács had it momentarily, then it was knocked off his stick. Edward Uvira, a pass to Igor Liba at center ice, now forced back inside his own blue line. An early goal by Yuri Lala, and Czechoslovakia in front 1-0. Both teams at full strength. This is Hardina, long shot, wide of goaltender Rick Walmsley. Canada in their own zone now. Number 11 for Team Canada, that's Mike Gartner of the Washington Capitals. It's deflected by Dennis Maroot. Back for it, number 12, Pavel Richter, in his 4th World Hockey Championship. Czechoslovakia now on the attack. Miroslav Dvorak, a drop pass, Ruzicka's shot, and that's deflected wide, cleared in front, and Czechoslovakia still with possession. Richter, a drive, and that's kicked out by Walmsley. Canada's Dennis Maroot was checked. Richter has it again, then he's hammered to the ice, but the puck is cleared into the Team Canada zone. Brian Engblom, a pass ahead to Gartner. Gartner leaves it for Maroot, and it's poke checked off his stick by Arnold Kadlec. Bouncing puck at the side of the Team Canada goal. Brian Engblom goes after it, number 9 for Canada. Engblom slaps it off the boards. It comes outside the line and rolls back to the Czechoslovakian side of center ice. 1-0 Czechoslovakia on a first period goal, 14 seconds, Yuri Lala. That shot deflected high over the glass and out of play. Quite a pace, Ron, here in the early going.
Very, very quick pace and good tempo shown, especially by Czechoslovakia, as you see.
For years, Datsun has been Canada's #1 selling import pickup. Now #1 introduces tough new 1984 Nissan trucks with a big new 2.4-liter engine for more power and torque, more ground clearance, double-walled cargo box, and you can shift from 2- to 4-wheel drive in the cab. Tough just got tougher in 4x4 and 2-wheel drive at your Datsun dealer now.
Nissan is the one. Nissan is the one.
Play just underway. Waters of Team Canada clears the puck ahead to Marcel Dion. Dion dropping it back for James Patrick. And he's been very impressive here at the World Hockey Championships. Patrick, number 6, the youngster from University of North Dakota, a native of Saskatchewan. František Černik, number 14, slaps it off the boards. Edward O'Vera tries to get it out. He fails. That's right on and stopped by goaltender Yuri Kralik. They scramble for possession. It's held there, and they get a whistle from the Finnish referee, Pertti Juhola.
Well, when you get behind 1-0 in a hockey game, especially at the 14-second mark of a very, very important hockey game, as you're looking at Radoslav Svoboda, the 24-year-old from the Army team from Czechoslovakia, skating off the ice, it's a little tough. And Team Canada is just trying to get its act together right now, and seemingly they are. Lala from Svozil at the 14-second mark, 1-0 Czechoslovakia.
Now after the puck for Czechoslovakia, Miroslav Dvorak. Dvorak had it bounce off Team Canada's Paul Reinhardt, who's up front now, number 7. Reinhardt playing that left wing on a line with youngster Shervin at right side. And number 18 for Canada, Dave Taylor. Almost breaking in there was Shervin, but he lost control. The puck is cleared down. It'll be icing. Hartsburg goes back and touches it. Icing against Czechoslovakia.
Well, the veterans do the little things, Bernie, and Miroslav Dvorak, as Shervin was trying to break over the line. You're looking there at Craig Hartsburg. He just gave him the little hook. It was just enough to pull him off the puck. There's Marcel Dion, as usual, right at the top of the scoring statistics for Team Canada, at least. He has had a good tournament, has Marcel, representing Canada, as he says again, for the last time. But he keeps coming back.
And he's really been outstanding in the championships. In the preliminary round, got 3 goals in the 3-1 win over Czechoslovakia. After the puck, Yuri Hardina trying to get it out. He failed. Kralik steers that to the corner. And Milan Halupa, the veteran defenseman for Czechoslovakia, number 5, attempted to get it out and failed. Canada, Daryl Sittler goes after the puck. It's back to the line. Brian Engblom keeps it in. Now it's cleared around in behind the Czechoslovakia net. Rolled in front. Here's Anderson, a shot. And Kralik took it high, juggled it, and then smothers the puck to get a face-off. And we'll be back in just
a moment. Now Simpson's has it on sale. It's anniversary sale time at Simpson's, and what you're looking for is here at a great price. And now Simpson's has the anniversary sale sweepstakes. Just scratch and win one of thousands of prizes. Come on in now. Simpson's has it.
All set now for the face-off. We've played 4 minutes and 1 second here in the opening period. Czechoslovakia on a goal by Yuri Lala from Svozil at 14 seconds. Canada's number 17, Michel Goulet, goes after the puck there. It's cleared to center. Deflected off a player at the blue line. Now it's deflected back into the Team Canada zone. And back for it there goes Taylor. And it's icing against Czechoslovakia.
Well, we had the early goal 14 seconds in, almost before they got their skating legs. But since then, the ice has seemed to tilt a little bit towards the Czechoslovakian end. A tremendous scoring chance. And Kralik, the young goaltender, who was the all-star goaltender at the World Tournament last year, made a big save, just getting his arm on that shot. And he has had 4 or 5 shots now in the span since the goal, and I think Walmsley has been pretty well untested.
Paschek, number 21, the center now for Czechoslovakia. Both teams at full strength here in the first period at the Olympia Halle in Munich. And a beautiful day, weather-wise, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful spring-like day here in Munich, West Germany. Now away goes number 21, Dusan Paschek. Gets it in front, but it's called on an offside. And a penalty coming up, I believe. The referee, Juhola, is talking to a player there and heads over. It's a tripping infraction to Czechoslovakia's Aldrich Valek. Valek gets a penalty.
Well, Canada gets to work its power play as Valek goes in. And we'll see who they send out. It'll be the Triple Crown line with Dave Taylor. It wasn't the line itself. Bernie wasn't together that much this year. Charlie Simmer had a pretty good year, but he played on other lines. Taylor spent a lot of the season, almost half the season, on the injury list.
The philosophy there, of course, Dave King saying at least they're familiar with each other, having played on the same team, and he did likewise with Gartner and Dennis Marouk. But here's Canada now on the power play. The puck deflected into the Czechoslovakian zone. Arnold Kadletz, number 8, a pass straight up the middle. Going away, Bosil, a shot, and that's off the target, and behind the net goes Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg trying to get it ahead. Kept in by Prentisak Chernik into the corner, number 20. That's Yuri Lala. He has scored the only goal of the game for Czechoslovakia. Chernik behind the net, trying to dig it from the corner, gets it back to the line. There's a shot, and it took a weird bounce in front of goaltender Rick Walmsley. Lala clears it to the line, then gets it. Charlie Simmer trying to knock it loose and forced back in his own zone now is Marcel Dion. Here comes Dion for Team Canada. Canada on the power play. Simmer. He's hauled down as he got across the Czechoslovakian line. Dave Taylor goes into the corner after it. Charlie Simmer trying to help out. It's steered around the boards, but not out. Hartsburg keeps it in. Hartsburg to Paul Reinhardt. In front, a shot by Marcel Dion. Here's Hartsburg. A drive. That's knocked down and held onto by goaltender Yuri Kralik.
Tremendous amount of credit there to Dave Taylor, who got himself in front of the net. He's number 18 as you take a look at this sequence. Look at him in front of the net, also joined there by Charlie Simmer. That's size up front. You want that. And here comes the shot in, and there's no way that Kralik saw that one. The rebound came right back out, and another great chance coming in from the blue line. So Canada on the power play had a couple of good chances. They've still got 42 seconds left in it.
And Yuri Kralik has been brilliant in goal so far. Now Canada getting set again. Another drive right on. Knocked down in front as Brian Engblom took that shot. He's on defense with Doug Hallward. Engblom of the Washington Capitals, Hallward of the Vancouver Canucks. Digging for the puck is Brian Fropp, and it's held against the boards. And we have 24 seconds remaining in the Team Canada power play.
Interesting, we talk about Charlie Simmer, who has always been the slugger on that line. That was the way he actually moved himself into the position on that line. But Dave Taylor, when he was drafted by the Los Angeles Kings, I think he weighed 145 pounds. One of the reasons he went in the very, very late in the draft. He grew some coming out of college, Clarkson, and now become one of the good hockey players in the league, one of the good stars.
Now Prop clears the puck around the boards, trying to get it back to Hallward. He keeps it in, but collides. Here's a 2-on-1 break now for Czechoslovakia. Lala coming in, a shot. That's stopped by goaltender Rick Walmsley. Dangerous break there for Czechoslovakia, 2-on-1. Penalized player steps on the ice. Both teams are back at full strength. Czechoslovakia enjoying a 1-0 lead on an early goal by Yuri Lala. Off the boards it goes. Lala has the puck now for Czechoslovakia. Chased back by number 17, Michel Goulet. Up over the line now. This is Ladislav Bosil. He's knocked down. Trying to carry on there was Valak. And Canada races out of their own zone. Here's Marouk, a shot. And it's off the glove of Yuri Kralik. Another chance. And Kralik smothers it and holds on. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, guys. Cutting out.
Yeah. Come on, boys. We're moving out of here.
We deserve a break now.
Hey, really glad you're here. Me and the boys are 50.
Smooth, easy drinking 50. What a beer to share.
Me and the boys and our beer.
We've played 7 minutes and 20 seconds here in the opening period. Czechoslovakia leading 1-0. This is Bernie Pascal along with Ron Roosh at the Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany. Marouk intercepts the pass at his own blue line, cleared it to the center ice area where Pashak, number 21, has it for Czechoslovakia. It's dropped back to Dvorak. Both teams at full strength as Pashak now swings out of his own zone. Pashak on the right side, taken out of the play by James Patrick. Solder trying to get it there, helped out by teammate Pashak in front of the Team Canada net, and Tim Waters slapped that away. Waters then lifts the puck outside his own blue line. Brought right back in by Czechoslovakia's Kadlec. In behind the net now. This is Volek. Volek collides with the Team Canada player Goulet and knocked him down. Rather, Gartner, number 11. Here's a chance for Marouk. Leaves it there. Slapped loose at center ice. And having trouble with it. The break now for Paul Reinhardt. Coming right in front, and he's pulled over as he tried to jump over Yaroslav Benok. Coming right back into the Team Canada zone, and it's covered up nicely by Doug Hallward, number 2. He lifts it straight up the middle into the Czechoslovakian zone. Kralik out of the net for Benok. Benok, number 9, behind his own net. A pass up on the right side, intercepted by Team Canada. Reinhardt trying to get in front of the net, and it's scooped away and brought back out by Czechoslovakia. Up over the line. Liba slips and falls just as he got over the line, and Canada's Marcel Dion trying to set up Bob Gainey now. And Gainey reached it, just got away from him. Milan Halupa, pass right in front of his own net. Canada couldn't get possession there as the puck was bouncing around. Now another chance. Up over the line. Reinhardt deflected it in, and it's right to the Czechoslovakian player. 9 minutes and 30 seconds have been played here in the opening period. Puck is brought in by Uvira. Intercepted by Scott Stevens. Stevens clears it out to the center ice area. Prop trying to get it. A delayed penalty coming up, and it'll be a holding infraction to Brian Prop of Team Canada.
Well, Canada will go short-handed now. The Czechoslovakians got a shot at 14 seconds. Their second shot of the period came at 6:40, and that's all they've had. But now they go on the power play as Brian Prop goes in for holding on a play at center ice. And this comes at the 9:39 mark of the first period. 1-0. Czechoslovakia is leading. And the penalty killers are out there, led by Anderson, along with Sittler. And Stevens is going to work out there. No, he comes off the ice now, and Engblom's going to go out there along with Craig Hartsburg. So the penalty killer's out. To see how Canada handles this.
Ruzicka, number 17, the big centerman for Czechoslovakia. He has the puck now, drops it there for number 12, Pavel Richter. Richter, he drops it for Ruzicka, coming up over the Team Canada line to Richter. Richter's number 12 takes it into the corner, and it's knocked off his stick by Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg got it to Sittler, then he was checked. Coming in front now is Richter. He's tied up, can't get a shot, and it's brought out by Team Canada, Bob Gainey. Or rather, number 12, Anderson, cleared the puck into the Czechoslovakian zone. He's out on the ice there. Darryl Sittler, number 27. The pass comes up. Long drive there by Lukács. Right on, stopped by goaltender Rick Wamsley. Now it's shot down the ice, and we have 1:05 remaining in the penalty to Brian Prop. Bringing it in, František Černík. He was stopped by Bob Gainey, and the puck slapped down the ice into the Czechoslovakian zone. Kadlec, number 8. He leaves it there for Svozil. Now they take turns taking it out of their own zone. Drop back to the center ice area. Long shot by Kadlec. That almost fooled goaltender Wamsley, but he got a piece of it. 37 seconds left in the penalty to Brian Prop. Czechoslovakia leading 1-0. Dvorak in his own zone. He drops it back. Czechoslovakia on the power play. Get it over the line. After it is Černík into the corner. He's hammered against the boards. Waters goes after it. Here's a chance at the line. A shot. They score. 2-0 Czechoslovakia.
Well, Czechoslovakia has made them count. That was a deflection in front of the net. They are showing Miroslav Dvorak. He was the man cruising in front, the old veteran. And let's take a look at it. As against the boards, it is cleared into the zone, or back to the blue line. Here comes the shot now, cruising in front of that net. Did he get it, stick on it? Yuri Lala, I believe he did. And if so, he'll eventually get credit for it. Let's take a look at it again. Into the corner, the check thrown by Goulet in there. The puck coming back. This is on the power play from the blue line. It's a hard slap shot. But watch the man in front of the net, Lala. Is he deflected or not?
Well, they're giving it to Dvorak, number 6. Miroslav Dvorak, the goal scorer, assisted by František Černík. He got the first assist. And Czechoslovakia, with the power play goal, now lead by a score of 2-0.
They're going to change it. I think that already the discussion is taking place down at the timekeeper's bench, Bernie. There was a deflection in front of the net. I'm not quite sure who it was, but I think we're going to see a change in the scoring. 3 shots on goal, Bernie. 2 of them have gone in. The shots on the power play.
So František Černík does get it changed to Yuri Lala. So Lala's second goal of the game, and it's 2-0 for Czechoslovakia. Ron, as you mentioned, Lala was right in front of the net. Dvorak took the shot, and it obviously tipped off Yuri Lala, credited now with the goal. Frolic away out of the net, steers it off the sideboards. Svoboda of Czechoslovakia digging for it with Pashek. Team Canada's Bob Gainey trying to come up with it. Marcel Dion goes after the puck, and it's knocked away from him. Vladimir Salder has it at his own blue line. Good check just outside of the Czechoslovakian line, and Salder will try again. Salder clears it up. Gainey for Canada intercepts. Can't get over the blue line. And Czechoslovakia swinging out of their own zone again. Bolek, the long shot. Comes off the backboards, almost fooled goaltender Wamsley. 12-15 have been played here in the opening period as Gainey of Team Canada at center. Up to Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg on the right, slips and falls, and the puck is brought back by Czechoslovakia's Rusnak. He clears it to center. Prop has it there for Canada. He lifts it into the corner. Darryl Sittler after it there to Prop. Prop spun around and falls behind the net. Couldn't get a shot away. Now it's brought out to the center ice area. This is Vincent Lukács up over the line. It's offside. We'll be back in a moment.
Watch this. The man with the briefcase is a Bank of Montreal banker. The man he is calling on owns his own company. The banker is about to sign a document unique in Canadian banking. First Bank Financial Agreement, our formal commitment which spells out in writing the terms of all the services we provide to each business customer. And we sign it right on the dotted line. First Bank Financial Agreement, another good idea from Bank of Montreal. First Bank for business, not just money. Ideas.
Czechoslovakia leading Team Canada by a score of 2-0. Halupa shot. Oh, and that deflection, Ron, almost knocked into the net by Ruzicka, standing right by Wamsley.
They're dangerous. They're not getting that many shots, but the ones they're getting have a high quality factor. Let's take a look at this one. Number 17 in front of the net is Ruzicka. Spun around in the corner is Pavel Richter. It comes off the boards and just deflected in, and Wamsley lost sight of it. He reached behind him. He didn't know exactly where it was at all, and about the only thing he could do is kind of reach back and hope it was underneath him somehow.
Ruzicka has it again, number 17, cleared it right in front, and Gartner comes back for Canada. Gartner into the corner. Race for it there. Michel Goulet got to it. It steered around. Dennis Marouk then backhands it into the corner. Knocked against the boards is Goulet. Trying to dig that puck loose. Gartner had a piece of it. Engblom had it go by him. A good check there, handed out by Stevens as he stepped into number 24, Hardina. Now Gartner trying to get that pass on the left side to Michel Goulet. Gartner's in behind the net, in front. Nowhere near Dennis Marouk. And Czechoslovakia swings out again. Ruzicka up over the line, and Hardina had it knocked off his stick. Knocked down with the high stick. And the call from the referee, Juhola of Finland.
Well, there's Brian Engblom. Brian, who worked as a defensive partner with Stevens all year with the Washington Capitals after the trade was made. Stevens, of course, last year at this time was in the Memorial Cup playdowns and was eventually a winner in the Memorial Cup with the Kitchener Rangers and has become a tremendous NHL defenseman.
Shot right on from the face-off by Svozil. And goaltender Rick Wamsley holds on another whistle. Mike Visor of the Hartford Whalers is the backup for Team Canada. As Ron mentioned, the earlier game today, the Soviets defeated Sweden by a score of 4-0. And Czechoslovakia leads this one 2-0 on 2 goals here in the first period by Yuri Lala. František Černík's shot deflected. That hits the mesh up high behind the net.
Well, so much depends on the fellow you just saw on your screen, Rick Walmsley. Goaltending is the key. They talk about it in the Stanley Cup. There's Chernik, the captain of the Czechoslovakian team, now taking over from Milan Novi. But the pressure's on. You've got to get big goaltending.
Now the puck is deflected by Bob Gainey. It rolls to the Czechoslovakian line. Charlie Simmer let it go. Hartsburg. He feeds it over. Now it comes to Gainey. Too hot for him to handle, and it rolls into the Czechoslovakian zone. Gainey ran into his player, Bennock. Comes around the boards. Marcel Dion went after it. It comes out to Doug Hallward. Hallward, number 2. He clears it into the corner. Gainey racing in after it there. Gainey for Canada, trying to get it back. He's all tied up by Arnold Kadlec. And it comes out to the center ice area. Break now for Yuri Lala's shot. That bounced off Paul Reinhardt and just went wide. Canada's Charlie Simmer up to the center ice area with Darryl Sittler. Sittler's checked just as he crossed the line, and it's brought back in by Uvira. Uvira drop pass for Liba. He was knocked off stride. And Patrick, a lead pass for Sittler. Patrick carrying on. Goes in behind the net. After it there, John Anderson of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anderson, he was checked against the boards, and it's brought back out now by number 18, Rusnak. Rusnak for Czechoslovakia shot. And that goes wide of goaltender Rick Walmsley. Patrick, number 6 for Team Canada, up over the line to Prop to Sittler. And he couldn't get a shot as he was right in front of the net. And it's cleared off the boards back into the Team Canada zone. We've played 15 minutes and 40 seconds here in the opening period. This game live from the Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany. Here's a chance now for Canada's Baruch. And what a save again by Yuri Kralik. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Pontiac performance is about to begin.
Welcome back now to West Germany. Bernie Pascal with Ron Rouge. A shot there right from inside the blue line off the stick of Scott Stevens. Dennis Marouk dumps it in front, trying to get the pass to Michel Goulet. And it's brought back out now by Ruzicka. Ruzicka spins inside the line, dumps it in front. Puck is bounced right onto the stick of Pavel Richter. Richter back to the blue line. Bennock getting set. There's a shot knocked down, and Marouk has it for Canada. Gets it up to center ice. After it there, Ruzicka inside his own line. Over to Yaroslav Bennock. Intercepted by Dennis Marouk. Here's Marouk of Canada getting it in front. And Goulet couldn't handle that pass. And Czechoslovakia comes racing back again. Number 24, Hardina. In behind the Team Canada net. Swings in front. Try to get that pass. Stevens bumped him. Now it's cleared and deflected outside the line by Team Canada's Michel Goulet, and he heads to the bench immediately. Chernik, number 14 for Czechoslovakia. Marouk. After him, it's cleared off the board, stopped at center by Doug Hallward. Here comes Hallward, a lead pass over the line for Gainey, intercepted by Chernik. Chernik getting set for Czechoslovakia. Back to the line, a drive off the stick of Svozil is knocked down. Now it's out to center ice, Dave Taylor of Canada. Intercepted by Svozil. Now, Taylor gets it back for Canada. Shot. A toe save. Another drive. They score! Hartsburg. A bullet drive by Craig Hartsburg on the rebound. And it's Canada on the scoreboard, trailing now 2-1.
Long rebound, but a great scoring chance right off the top of it. Here it comes now. It's breaking it over the line. There's the hard shot. Lala had, at least Kralik made the save. The puck came out, and on the long rebound, here comes the blast by Hartsburg, and Canada is on the board. I'm sure they were wondering when it was going to come. There it is again, breaking it over the line. You see Dave Taylor get that shot away. A good save in its own right, but the rebound came right back into the deep slot. Easy beat for a defenseman coming in on it.
Well, Craig Hartsburg playing it perfectly, capitalizing on the rebound off the shot of Dave Taylor. Hartsburg played last year in the World Championships in Finland. He was named to the second All-Star team. His defense partner last year was Dvorak, who is the veteran defenseman of Czechoslovakia, who, of course, this past season played with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Big problem with the ice down there. It looks like a great big chunk has come loose down there. They've had problems here. This is the Velodrome, the 1972 Olympics. The cycling was held in this building. Since then, it has been used for the local Munich team in the Bundesliga in the German National Hockey League. But they've had some problems with the ice here. They don't do it the way we do, of course, in North America, where they coat the ice white. It's become a visibility problem for goaltenders. There's Dave King. Somewhat less worried than I would say he was about 45 seconds ago. But still, his team is in a position to come from behind. There's his co-coach, Jean Perron, right behind him there with the glasses on.
And up in this broadcast area is the other member of the coaching staff, George Kingston, who is working on the headset with the bench with Jean Perron. Talking to Dave King before the game, he said, granted, it is difficult putting a team together for the World Championships, taking players from NHL clubs that have been eliminated from the playoffs, but he says when you have the quality players like the Marcel Dionnes, the Darryl Sittlers, and the Bob Gainey, he said they have great leadership qualities, and he said if you can start with a trio like that, it's very important. And he's had nothing but praise for Team Canada. They've really put their act together and have played outstanding hockey here at the World Championship. Dvorak in behind the net. A pass on the left side. Liba. He clears it out to the center ice area. Knocked off stride there was Vincent Lukács. And Canada has it again. Here comes Taylor. Dave Taylor, who set up the last goal, fires that right through the crease. Lukács up to his own blue line. Bringing it in now is Liba. Liba's shot almost fooled Rick Wamsley on that one as he let it go, trying to spin around the defenseman. It's pinned against the boards, now cleared by Liba right back into his own zone. Taylor goes after it, but it's taken back now by number 6, Dvorak. Up over the Team Canada line. He drops it into the middle for Salder. He can't get a shot as we've played 18 minutes and 15 seconds here in the opening period. One goal separating the two teams. Czechoslovakia leading by a score of 2-1 on 2 goals by Lala, and Craig Hartsburg has scored for Canada. Brian Propp, he has it momentarily, then it's cleared into the Team Canada zone. Hartsburg goes after it there. Team Canada winning a bronze medal last year at Finland, and very much in the medal contention this time around at the World Championships in West Germany. John Anderson is checked. There'll be a penalty. Looks like a high sticking infraction.
I think on retaliation, and that's the kind of penalty that'll drive.
That'll be Czechoslovakia.
It'll be driving his coach on retaliation. The check is thrown by Anderson at mid-ice in the center ice zone. There was absolutely no need for it at all, but going off is Dusan Pashak, one of the young players on this team who played in the second division this year in Czechoslovakia. Boy, I'll tell you, Rudy Bukac is not going to be pleased at all with that one.
So Pashak into the penalty box. Canada now on a power play opportunity. And they send out Michel Goulet with Dennis Marouk and Mike Gartner. Hartsburg is on the defensive point on the right side, and Craig Hartsburg, the other defenseman for Canada. Golden opportunity to tie up the game here in the late going of the first period. Hartsburg ahead now. Brought up over the line to Gartner, to Michel Goulet. Goulet fires it behind the net. Marouk goes after it there, trying to get it in front. It bounces off Reinhardt. Here's a chance now, and it's cleared down the ice with Wamsley away out of the net. We have 40 seconds left to play in the first period. Canada on a power play. Gartner's up over the line. A shot knocked down by defenseman Uvira. Another drive by Marouk. All around the net, and it's brought out by Pavel Richter. Gets it out to the center ice area, then heads to the bench. Lala drops it back to his own zone to Dvorak. Dvorak is bumped there by Hartsburg. Carries on. Pass in front, intended for Chernik, and Reinhardt intercepts that. 10 seconds left in the period. Here's Marouk. Straight up the middle now for Canada. Drops it back to Gartner. Reinhardt into the corner, 2 seconds, and that'll do it. The first period is over, and Canada will still have a power play opportunity at the start of period number 2, and the crowd very appreciative. Some exciting hockey here in the first period, Ron. Team Canada and Czechoslovakia.
Well, I look back on the period, Bernie, and a couple of things stood out. First of all, it appeared to me that Rick Walmsley was a bit shaky in the early going of the period. He just really wasn't quite ready. And, you know, when you get scored on 14 seconds into the period, you tend to get a little shaky. You begin to wonder if this is going to be one of those nights where nothing's going to go well, and it didn't go well because the fourth shot went in as well, so it was 2-0. But then Hartsburg scored to make it a 2-1 hockey game. I look back on the period, and I think about Dennis Maruk in that period. I think he had 4 excellent scoring chances in the period. He made a fine defensive play at center ice on one other play. There was some question mark about Maruk in this game, but I thought he had a pretty good first period.
Right, Ron, and from all the reports, Maruk has not been playing well at the World Championships, but as you indicate, that first period, I think, was perhaps his best here, and Team Canada hoping that he'll continue. We'll continue with our telecast here at the World Hockey Championships.
I've seen enough to know what I like. I got my feet wet in a splash of colored light. No simple reaction, just my kind of action. And blue, some miles along with you.
For every chicken you ever ate, for every turkey sandwich, for every duck, quail, and pheasant, the birds are back and they're fighting mad in Phoenix, Atari's newest star. You zig, they zag, use your shield, they wait to get you. Shoot a wing, Phoenix grows another, until you face the mothership. Reach for Phoenix.
Reach for Atari.
Chevrolet's taking charge of driving excitement with the all-new value-packed Chevy Cavalier TBI. With new computer-controlled throttle body fuel injection, responsive new 2-liter engine, and Cavalier's new positive 5-speed transmission. Cavalier TBI, driving excitement at a Chevrolet price.
Now, your Chevy dealers taking charge with low 10.9% financing available on Cavalier TBI.
The Czechs 2, Canada 1 after one period of play in Munich. To talk with us today about that first period of play, the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Rick Vive, with us at CTV Control in Toronto. Rick, you've played at the World Juniors, you've played in the World Championships yourself. Any surprises from today's first period?
Not really. I thought it was about the same as the Czechs had played last year. It was a lot different from the junior series back in, I think it was '76, when they weren't quite as physical as they are now, and now they come out hitting just as much as we do in Canada. And but I thought Canada had the better part of the play in that period.
A couple of people we were talking during the period you know rather well from first-hand experience. Yuri Lala got a pair today so far. You remember him from last year?
Yes, he played very well for Czechoslovakia last year, and if I remember correctly, I think he was about third in the scoring in the entire tournament. He scored a few goals against us, and I think he hurt us a little bit last year, but he's an outstanding player, and he played well in that first period today.
And Frolic, their goaltender, last year was an all-star. Today, I don't think you could fault him on the goal by Craig Hartsburg.
Oh, definitely not. He had a couple of shots just before that and made a couple of good saves, and anytime you give a guy like Hartsburg a shot from 25 feet out like that, he's going to put it by you. But he was excellent last year in the World Championships, and I think it was first all-star. And he certainly played well in that first period.
It's been mentioned before, we were talking about it during the game, the emotional differences that the different teams have when they approach the World Championships. For the Canadians, it comes after playoffs where they've been eliminated. For these people, it's something they've planned all year for.
Well, of course, this tournament in Europe, it's their Stanley Cup. The Russians, the Czechs, the Swedes, the Finns, and all the other teams, but and this is what they gear for all year. They don't really worry about any other tournaments or exhibition games. They just get geared up for this here tournament, and it's a lot easier for them because they only have one thing to worry about. Our players just finished playoffs. Some of them have had a hard series in the playoffs, and all of a sudden they got to go over there and play in this tournament. So I think it helps the European teams a lot in the fact that they just gear for this thing.
You have personal interest in a couple of people on this team, or at least in this game, Anderson and Ruzicka.
Well, John, of course, was my line mate all year and my roommate on the road, and we're pretty good friends, and I'm really happy for John that he's over there. And I saw in the first period he played well, and Ruzicka was one of our draft picks.
Rick, what do you think? Can he come back quickly?
Sure.
Great. Well, we'll find out in a couple of moments. This is World Championship Hockey on CTV.
Some folks are content with average run-of-the-mill hamburgers. Others want a better deal. Some folks are into frozen food. Others prefer fresh. Some folks will settle for assembly line hamburgers. Others prefer them tailor-made, hot and juicy, right off the grill. These could be anybody's hamburgers. This one could be yours.
That's fresh, that's class, that's Wendy's.
One of the most universal problems is how to pick up the check graciously. And there's a second problem, how large is the check? And there can be a third problem with its attendant loss of face if you have a credit card with a fixed spending limit. Fortunately, there is a card with no preset spending limit. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Dodge Omni and Plymouth Horizon, two of the best equipped small cars on the road with one, a 5-year or 80,000 kilometer protection plan at no extra cost. 2, over $600 in extras have been added in 83 at no extra cost. And 3, automatic transmission at no extra cost when you choose our spring option package. Say yes to Omni and Horizon and say yes to automatic value. 10.9% financing available. Your dealer has details.
First period intermission. The Czechs lead Canada 2-1. To talk with us about that, John Robertson, the Toronto Sun. John, you know Dave King rather well. You've been following what he's done over the last couple of years. He's made a big difference. A lot of people say you support that theory.
Well, what he's done, basically, that's a very ordinary Canadian team. If you compare them to Canada Cup teams, and maybe 2 of those guys would be on it. But because he's induced them to stop beating themselves and to let the other team, like the Czechs in that period, take the retaliatory penalties, they can compete with anybody. And here you have, therefore, an ordinary team which has been, for the last 20 years, Canada has been trying this let's soften them up tactics, eh? For 20 years, you run into the Czechs, you run into the Russians, you don't soften them up, you just take dumb penalties. For the first time in a long time, you can watch an international game, you know nobody's going to throw a chair on the ice, you know if a player does something stupid, he's going to come off the ice. King showed this over at the Junior Championship. Andrzejczyk, great hockey player, finished the season with Buffalo. He took 4 retaliatory penalties. The Canadian team needed him desperately, but King says, go sit on the end of the bench because that's not the way you win over here. And you could see it in the Tier 1 juniors when they came home after that Christmas series. They were saying, this is the way to play the game, not the shish kebab way that we play it at home. And I think the NHLers are learning now, and the team that gets Dave King as a coach is going to have one of the top 5 coaches in the NHL right off the top.
Who's going to get Dave King?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he went to Montreal. If I was putting together a team today, I'd hire Sherry Basson from Oshawa as my general manager, Dave King as my coach, and I'd take on the world.
What is King's secret? I was talking to Tom Watt earlier about this. We have known for the last 10 years you can't take penalties. King doesn't go in there with any extra knowledge that no one lacked before. How is it he's been able to transmit this message?
Never raises his voice. You watch him during a game. He goes up and down the bench, always teaching, always coaching, forgetting what happened in the past, saying, this is what you should be doing. He has a way, just the style about the man, of getting the confidence of the players, and he can be very sharp with them without upsetting them. None of the Tessier antics about heart transplants and poor me and I'm embarrassed. King has a way of molding them together, and he's got that attitude over there, and I think it's the first time a Canadian team has had it. We're all in this together, and there are no superstars. With the great deference to Phil Esposito and some of the great ones we've had over there, there's one guy in control this time. That's the way the Russians have won it, and that's the way Canada's going to win it from now on.
John, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be back with Tom Watt and the highlights when we return.
They're coming.
The Mojaves, a pair of new limited edition Toyota trucks. Mojave Highway, a two-wheel drive Roadrunner. Gold finish, bronze glass, sleek inside and out. Mojave Trail, ready to blaze any terrain. Extra special equipment makes it trick and 4x4 tough. The Mojaves, special truck in two ways, but supplies are limited. To ambush one, better get on your horse. Mojave.
Get ready for a second look at the funniest movie about growing up ever made. Remember what happened inside Porky's? It's still not to be believed. And how about the locker room scene? And the cabin scene? And the shower scene? Alone, they're still worth the price of admission. Tommy, what are you doing? Porky's.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Check your local listings.
Tom Watt is back. He has a highlight package for us. Tom, what did you think were the key factors in that first period?
Well, first of all, in the highlight package, we've got the goals, the 3 goals, obviously, and then we want to talk a little bit about what we saw earlier, or what we talked about earlier in the show about the Czechoslovakian team and what's characteristic of their play by picking and blocking. And we have 3 little examples in the game where they use blocking effectively to get out of their own zone, and another one to make an attack in the neutral zone, one of which they were caught on and penalized, but the other 2 they got away with. And we talked about that at the beginning of the show, and I thought it'd be worthwhile to take a look at that.
Well, let's take a look at the scoring then. 14-second mark, kind of a shock. Yuri Lala.
Well, actually, a veteran player here, Daryl Sittler, had possession of the puck deep in his own zone, and you see John Anderson against the boards there. He goes out of the picture, and Sitt tries to move it up the boards to Anderson. It's blocked off by Lala, and he rolls in front of the net and scores the first goal in 14 seconds. And, of course, that's not something you want to happen. The second goal, the Canada winger got in too deep. Dvorak has time to tee the puck up, and on the way to the net, Lala is able to deflect the puck. Now, of course, Mike Gardner can shoot specials, and here he is. He drills the puck. Kralik kicks out, and look at the 2 Team Canada forwards. They do what they're supposed to do. They drove to the net. And when the puck comes back to Hartsburg, he's able to get everything he has into that shot and certainly score a goal. But I think one of the key points there, number 1, they got the shot away. Gartner put it right on Kralik. And I think, 2, both the Team Canada forwards drove to the net and made the defenseman come with them. And then when the puck came straight back out, there was nobody near Hartsburg to move right in and get Canada back in the hockey game.
Well, Canada definitely was not outplayed in that first period.
No, it's really tough to be scored on in the first 14 seconds of a game, you know. I mean, it's a very important game, and then right off the bat, there's a little bit of a deflation. You come out of the room all fired up and ready to give it your all, and then all of a sudden the puck's in your net, and you're having an uphill battle, you know, right from the start. That's not too good, but they came back, and they worked hard, and I think perhaps had the better of the territorial play.
What about those pick plays now?
Well, I think here's a good example. Now, you watch the puck going into the Czechoslovakian zone. We've slowed it down, and look at the Czech defenseman take out the forechecker, and the other defenseman is easily able to put the puck out. Here's a rush coming right down the side, the Czechoslovakian player, and watch Tim Waters. He just comes in your picture here. The Czech forward, the winger, comes off the boards and takes the feet right out from under him in the block. And the Czechoslovakian player then is able to gain the zone with possession of the puck. And this is typical of their play. That time, the Finnish official was able to say, here's another one of the forechecking. Look at the Team Canada forechecker in. Then the other defenseman comes off the boards, puts his stick right around the forechecker. There it is right there. And the other defenseman is able to scoop the puck out of his zone. But this is what we talked about at the beginning of the show, really, about the blocks and picks that are typical of the play that Czechoslovakians have used for years. They use it in the offensive sense. They use it in their breakout plays. And, of course, the typical reaction, and you were talking about it before, about the discipline of Team Canada. In the past, a Team Canada man would take a stick and chop the pick to the ice, and then would be immediately penalized for 2 minutes because he looks on it as being interfered with. But they look on that as a legitimate tactic in European play.
Well, Tom, thanks very much. It is 2-1 Czechoslovakians leading Canada. We go now to Bernie Pascal and Ron Roush in Munich.
Well, we're back at the Olympia Halle, and the teams are back on the ice. We're about set to go for period number 2. And what will unfold for Team Canada in period number 2, we don't know. After period 1, it was 2-1 favor the Czechoslovakian team, as 2 of the first 4 shots in this hockey game went into the net. Both of them scored by Jussi Lala, who is one of the top scorers, now the top goal scorer in this tournament with his 7th and 8th goals. But Canada had the pressure on intermittently throughout the period, and they had a number of scoring chances. Craig Hartsburg finally got it in at 17:21 off a long rebound on a shot by Dave Taylor, and Canada was back in the hockey game. Lala from Svozil at the 14-second mark, the first shot of the hockey game, and then Lala from Dvorak and Chernik at 11:23. That came while Brian Propp was off for holding. Then the Hartsburg goal from Taylor at 17:21. We don't have an official shots on goal count here, but it was by a wide margin Team Canada's. But in the period, it was the same old story as so often we've seen it, Bernie, where a European team doesn't take that many shots, but when they do take them, they're effective. They've set up the play well. It's a deflection, as was the second goal, or in the situation, Lala just found himself with a little open ice coming out of the corner and was able to get it in between the legs of goaltender Rick Walmsley.
They certainly capitalized on those scoring opportunities. And Czechoslovakia starting the second period with a 1-goal lead. Number 14, Chernik, will take the draw against Denis Maruk, number 21, who had one of his strongest periods at the World Championships in that first 20-minute session. Maruk goes after the puck. It's slapped into the Team Canada zone, and after it there is Paul Reinhardt of the Calgary Flames. Reinhardt on defense with Craig Hartsburg. The pass comes ahead to Michel Goulet. Goulet shoots it into the Czechoslovakian zone. In behind the net now goes Halupa. In his own zone, a pass on the right side, Yuri Lala. Lala at the center ice area, up over the line, a shot. Walmsley stops it. The rebound is taken away by Craig Hartsburg. Up on the right side goes Gartner. Into the middle to Maruk. Here's Goulet getting set. Trying to get the short side, stopped by Yuri Kralik. Goulet behind the net. In front, Gartner's shot. That's knocked down by veteran defenseman Halupa. Gartner has it again. At the side, trying to jam it in was Goulet, and he's checked. Bennock goes after the puck, leaves it for Chernik. Branislav Chernik off the boards, kept in by Paul Reinhardt of Canada. Now Chernik steals it from him. Chernik in with Lala. In front, a shot. And that stopped as Lala was breaking in on the left side. We'll be back in just a moment.
Last October, I turned on the furnace. It runs like a top for 2 hours. I called HFC. They specialize in loans. I switched to a gas furnace. Government helped me with $1 grand, and HFC took care of the rest. I'm doing the best I can in these times, and HFC is helping me along the way.
HFC, we're here to help along the way.
Welcome back to the Olympia Halle in West Germany. Here's Czechoslovakia's Lukács taken into the corner, and Team Canada comes up with it. Gainey up the middle now for John Anderson. He tried to catch up to it, and Kralik came away out of the net to break up that play. Svoboda, number 15, clears it ahead to Liba. Liba sends the pass to number 23. That's Vincent Lukács. Liba, number 11, has it for Czechoslovakia. Ahead to Lukács. Had trouble with the pass. Intercepted there by Scott Stevens. And Stevens lost it. Czechoslovakia gets possession again. Svoboda in his own zone. Both teams at full strength. We've played 2 minutes here in the second period. And Czechoslovakia leading by a score of 2-1. Brian Propp in deep forechecking in the Czechoslovakian zone as Hardina swings out of his own area. Up over the center line, a shot right on goal. Walmsley stopped that. Gainey, he cleared it right onto the stick of Dvorak. Here's Dvorak, swung around in his own, in the Canada zone by James Patrick. Trying to get a backhand shot there. There's a drive by Richter, and Walmsley stopped that. Patrick in his own zone just slaps it off the boards. A mix-up in the Team Canada zone. Chernik all tied up there with Marcel Dion, or rather, that was Hardina, number 24. Tim Waters on defense now for Team Canada to Hartsburg up over the line. intended for Charlie Simmer got over his stick. Playing without the helmet there, Hardina, number 24. Richter slaps it ahead, and it's intercepted there by James Patrick, number 6 for Team Canada. Shot right on the rebound. And Ruzicka tried to fire that one away, and there's a hooking penalty against Team Canada.
Well, two things, Bernie, on this that are evident. One, Team Canada had a much better tempo starting the period than they did in the first period as Charlie Simmer goes off on the hooking penalty. The other thing is Rick Walmsley. Walmsley, when you see a nervous goaltender, generally he's tending to go down. He's starting to try and duck, looking to try and get a shot. In this period, he has made 3 or 4 excellent saves, and in every instance, he stayed with the play. He was up on his feet, and it's a different Rick Walmsley in the second period than we saw in the first period.
I'm sure, Ron, as you mentioned, he had those first period jitters. Players into the medal round, and Rick Walmsley getting a taste of it for the first time in his young professional hockey career. Hartsburg goes in behind his own net, number 5. He has scored the Team Canada goal. Darryl Sittler, number 27, almost stole the puck as he got over the Czechoslovakian line as we approach the 3-minute, 20-second mark of period number 2. Alupa, right in front of his own net, ahead to Yuri Lala, just out of reach. That would have been a dangerous play as Lala can really motor. This is Miroslav Dvorak. Leaves it there, and it's brought out now by Svozil. Svozil coming up over the line with number 19, Salder, and it's called by the Soviet linesman Baranov on the offside.
Well, some of the fans watching here at the Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany, the site of the final round, the championship round of this series. Of course, we'll be on the air Saturday with the second Team Canada game against Sweden, and again on Monday with Canada versus the Soviet Union, a traditional finish to all world championships. It seems, almost all of them.
Darius Rusnak is number 18, taking this face-off against number 11 for Team Canada. That's Mike Gardner of the Washington Capitals, appearing in his 3rd straight World Hockey Championships. Swinging now on the left side is Vincent Lukács. Lukács up over the Team Canada line. A backhand shot. That's knocked down. Lukács, they score! On the rebound as the puck bounced around and capitalizing in front, Rusnak, and he fires it past Walmsley. The puck taking a weird bounce. He capitalized on it, Ron, and made no mistake.
Well, it was just one of those unlucky things, and this one you couldn't blame Rick Walmsley for at all, the defenseman. The puck just seemed to keep bouncing along, and suddenly wound up in the slot. And Rusnak was right there, going to his knees with Engblom, but there's nothing at all that Walmsley could do on that one, and Rusnak gets the goal, and now Czechoslovakia is in a 3-1 lead. Canada just keeps finding itself in deep holes here. Again, you take a look at it. This long rush over the line, getting it into Lukács. Working, and it just bounces. It bounced away from everybody. And suddenly, it's right there in front. He got the shot away with Rusnak.
Follow the bouncing puck, and that's exactly what Rusnak did. Native of Bratislava, Czechoslovakia, gives the Czechoslovakia national team a 3-1 lead. And we played 4 minutes here in the second period. Rusnak getting the goal, assisted by Vincent Lukács. Now up over the line goes Pashek. Tried to get a pass on the right side to Salder, but that was broken up, and it's held against the boards. And we'll be back in just a moment.
I can see it.
Braun.
I can feel it now.
Ultra thin foiled, platinum coated, smooth and close, and only Braun has it. If you don't believe there's a difference, shave with your rotary. Then shave right away with Braun. You can hear Braun cutting the stubble you left behind.
I can hear it.
You can sense the Braun difference. Now, with up to $10 back, you can sense the value, too.
Back to the action. Here comes Team Canada. Goulet passing it over now. A shot right on off the stick of Scott Stevens. And Czechoslovakia now as play opens up. Salder brings it over the line, coming right in front, and it's hooked away off his stick as Brian Engblom has it. Engblom for Canada. Up the middle. Over the line comes Gartner trying to drop it back for Dennis Marouk. At center ice, Salder takes a long shot. wide of goaltender Rick Wamsley. Scott Stevens up to Dennis Baruch. Two teammates with the Washington Capitals. Baruch sends a pass to Taylor, but he's offside on left wing.
Well, the official scoring on the goal, Rusnak on a power play from Lukacs at 3:56. 3-1 Czechoslovakia. It came with Simirov. And so Canada has had two power play goals scored on it, and the chances that Canada has had, they have not been that effective on the power play.
Face-off just outside the Czechoslovakian lines. Svoboda, number 15, chases it behind his own net. In for checking is Marcel Dion. Svoboda took exception to Marcel Dion swinging at him. Now they pin the puck in the corner, and one has to be impressed with the play of Yuri Kralik, the Czechoslovakian goaltender. He's really played a steady game here this afternoon and throughout the World Championships. Kralik, the first team All-Star in the championships last year in Finland.
And when Tretiak doesn't win that award, it's sensational.
Isn't that true?
And he has been sensational again.
Here's a chance for Milan Halupa now in his own zone. He left it there. Radosek Chernik now will bring it out. The Czechoslovakian captain forced back by Bob Gainey. Now, yes, he leaves it for Halupa. Gainey's right on top of Milan Halupa. Chernik gets the puck again. It's a 1-2 passing combination there. And a little stick swinging at the Team Canada bench as the players there took exception of Chernik being checked, and his stick went over the boards.
Well, you see the officials, Pertti Juhala of Finland, as we look at the Czechoslovakian bench. You know, Czechoslovakia is the only team that has kind of ruined an almost unblemished Soviet string of championships. Over the last 19 years, the Soviets have won 16 world championships. The only time they did not win the world championship, 1972 in Vienna, 1976 in Katowice, and 1977 in Prague, where Czechoslovakia won the championships for 3 years.
Liba, Rusnak, and Lukacs, the forward line for Czechoslovakia and for Team Canada. With the puck now, it's cleared along the boards by Brian Propp, and he was checked. Propp goes after it again. Out there with Darryl Sittler and John Anderson. The pass comes to Sittler. Propp almost went offside, then put on the brakes. Broken up at the Czechoslovakian line. Brought back in by Kadlec. His shot, he scores! Oh, what a drive by Kadlec that completely fooled Rick Wamsley, and it's 4-1. An innocent-looking play, but a booming shot as Kadlec let it go, Ron, and boy, that fooled Rick Wamsley.
High to the stick side. Take a look at it. Over the line, and he just drives it. It may have deflected. We don't know. We'll have to look for another angle, but certainly it appears that Wamsley has the angle cut off. At least he thought he did, and it got by him into the far corner. Suddenly, it is 4-1. Let's take a look at it again as the play is stripped. And back down over the line comes number 8, Kadlec. Here comes the shot. Right over the blocker.
Well, Liba, with the puck, spotted Kadlec on the right side, gave it to him, and he rifled it in, and it's 4-1 now for Czechoslovakia. And we've played 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the second period. Bringing it in is Pashak. His shot just goes wide. Ryan Engblom of Canada. He slaps it off the boards, can't get it out as Czechoslovakia keeps it in. Pashak after it there, leaves it for Valek. Valek to Pashak. Pashak trying to come in front, cleared it, and it's blocked by goaltender Rick Wamsley and cleared down the ice into the Czechoslovakian zone. Kralik comes out of the net, feeds it ahead to Vladimir Salder, number 19. Salder up the left wing side. Chasing him is Michel Goulet. It comes on the right wing side. This is Valek in behind the net. Leaves it there for Pashak. Trying to roll it in front, and it's taken by Team Canada's Scott Stevens. Stevens, a member of the Kitchener Rangers Memorial Cup Championship team of last year. Now Canada on the attack. Gartner to Dennis Baruch. Here's Goulet, and it just bounced off his stick, and it's called on the offside. And Canada facing that 3-goal deficit. We'll be back in just a moment.
Nobody covers home plate the way Gary Carter does.
I guess you'd say I'm in the protection business.
And nobody covers cars like Chrysler.
Every new Chrysler-built car is protected for 5 years or 80,000 kilometers on the engine and powertrain against outer panel rust perforation.
Where else could you get that much protection without paying for it?
Well, not around home plate, that's for sure.
Special financing available. Your dealer has details.
We played 7 minutes and 35 seconds here in the second period. This is Bernie Pascal, along with Ron Roosh at the Olympia Halle in West Germany. World Hockey Championship medal round. Dan Matheson in our Toronto studios, along with Tom Watt, John Robertson, and Rick Vive. And last goal, Kadlec from Liba at 6:16. 4-1 for Czechoslovakia as Canada's Craig Hartsburg clears the puck ahead, a delayed offside, and it's called at the Czechoslovakian line.
Well, it's been a frustrating game for Canada. For Czechoslovakia, you must remember that these are all kids, really. They've got 7 rookies on their team, only 5 second-year players in terms of the picture in the World Championships. Look at a veteran there in Marcel Dion. And 5 more only in their 3rd World Championship. So this is a rebuilding team, and right now they've got Canada down by 3.
Only 3 players from the 1976 Olympics on the Czechoslovakian team. Kalupa, Dvorak, and František Černík, the Czechoslovakian captain. Now Dave Taylor brings it out for Canada, coming in with Bob Gainey. Drops it to Gainey. Gainey spots Hartsburg, gives it to him. There's a shot, they score! Canada deflected in front. Marcel Dion was standing there, and Shervin was also in front, and Canada gets the second goal of the game.
Boy, they needed that. They needed it about that point, too. Let's take a look at it again. Here comes the drop pass by Gainey back to the point. He just feathered it out there, giving Hartsburg time to get it around. Here's Gainey now, back out to the blue line. Now watch in front of the net. Number 10 is Shervin, and he is there, and he deflected it. And into the net, and we'll see how they score it, but I believe eventually it'll be credited to young Gord Shervin of Gravelburg, Saskatchewan. Again, here's Gainey back in on it. The shot coming in from Hartsburg. Just drifting it in. Not a great shot, but low, and that's the thing you like to see, and it's deflected up into the top of the net.
Well, they've announced the goal, Hartsburg, Ron, but we noticed that
automatic.
Several times, games earlier today and last night, they somehow overlooked those deflections in front, but on the replay, no doubt about it, it was scored by Shervin. Here's a shot, right on, stopped by goaltender Rick Romsler. Well, they've announced the goal, Hartsburg, from Bob Gainey and Gord Shervin, but spotted on the replay, there's no doubt about it, it was Shervin. He should be given credit for the goal from Hartsburg and Gainey.
So we'll have another meeting at the timekeeper's bench, right? 4-2. And it's getting to the point where if Canada didn't get a goal, things would, you get behind like that, sometimes they just gets to the point where it really deteriorates on you. Now it's a 2-goal hockey game with just a little less than half the game remaining.
Well, it's got to be a big lift as Brian Engblom has it in his own zone. Trying to feed a pass to Brian Propp. He was checked, and Engblom has it again. Up the middle, intended for Darryl Sittler. Carried out by Craig Hartsburg and fires it into the Czechoslovakian zone. Backboard, Arnold Kadlec. Kadlec off the boards. On the right wing side goes Lukács. Got to center, was stopped, and Brian Propp clears it in for Team Canada. As heading to the bench, Sittler heads over there with James Patrick after they collided outside the Team Canada blue line. After it now, this is Scott Stevens, number 3, drops it to Dennis Maruk. He was checked by Liba. Liba, number 11, a rink-wide pass on that left side, going in now. Rusnak trying to get in front, and he was taken out of the play. Vincent Lukács tried to get to it. It's cleared to an open wing. After it for Team Canada is Dennis Maruk. Left it there for Scott Stevens. He's bumped by Kadlec, and Liba has it inside his own line. Slips and falls. Got the puck outside the line, a delayed offside, but Czechoslovakia gets it out, so that's waved off. Maruk for Team Canada clears it into the Czechoslovakian zone. We played 9 minutes and 45 seconds in the second period. 4-2 for Czechoslovakia. A pass on the right side. Pollock coming right in front, trying to lift it high, and it went away over the top of the net. over the mesh and the glass out of play, and we'll be back in just one moment.
When you're feeling up and your friends are near, get a Love Ass Light. Love Ass Light. All you want in a beer. Now ain't that nice? So nice. Love Ass Light on ice. Tastes light and smooth, so smooth, and goes down so nice. Let's get a Love Ass Light.
Back to the action here at the Olympia Halle in West Germany. 4-2 is the score for Czechoslovakia over Team Canada. Upira clearing it in front, right on the Team Canada player stick. Paul Reinhardt clears it ahead with Charlie Zimmer. Here's Marcel Dion trying to get it in front. He's checked. And up with the puck now is Hardina. Hardina up the middle to Pavel Richter. He's spun around. And for Team Canada, that's Hallward trying to get it out. Comes to Ruzicka. Drops it back to Svoboda in his own zone. Ahead now to Richter. Richter for Czechoslovakia as Marcel Dion goes to the bench. Right in up over the Team Canada line. A save by Wamsley off Ruzicka.
Well, I'm not so sure that one was on the net, but Ruzicka let a good one go, a good wrist shot, and rather than prevent any further difficulty, Wamsley right there. Let's take a look at it. We got a good angle on it here as he lets the shot go. Wamsley reaching out. Well, may have caught the cut-off corner, but Wamsley, I think, using good common sense, just preventing any further play. Better to control the face-off here, and Sittler's been doing that regularly.
As we approach the 11-minute mark of period number 2, Canada trailing 4-2. Czechoslovakia in the red gave the puck away there to Brian Propp, and he shoots it to Daryl Sittler. Sittler clears it into the corner. Going after it there is Michel Goulet trying to take it loose. He's spun around, and it comes out to the center ice area where James Patrick has it. He missed the last Team Canada game with a hip pointer, but is out there taking a regular shift in this one for Canada today. Goulet is upset on the far boards by Ladislav Svozvil. Now it comes in front, almost a costly mistake there by Czechoslovakia as they cleared it in front of their own net. Paul Reinhardt, number 7 of the Calgary Flames, brings it up to the center ice area. Tried to get it out, intercepted by Lukat. Right in, stopped by Wamsley. As Lukat collides with Rick Wamsley, and he's hurt.
Wamsley took it up high. And let's take a look at this one again. As Wamsley has a collision in the goal mouth right now. And let's take it as he goes high, up onto his chest, and in hard comes the attacking forward. Wamsley's up. It looks like he'll be all right, and we'll be back.
When Marco Polo crossed the oceans of the world, it was a long and arduous journey.
Today, the real traveler flies Cathay Pacific, the fastest way from Vancouver to Hong Kong, enchantingly attended by the grace and beauty of 9 Asian lands. Would that I had journeyed in such wondrous fashion as you do, aboard Cathay Pacific, the real traveler's way.
It's remaining to be played here in the second period. Here's a break now for Team Canada, but it's called offside.
Oh, show me that again.
The pass to Gartner, Ron, they're saying it originated from the Team Canada side of the center red line. It'll be interesting to see if we do get a replay. Here it is.
All right, there's the pass.
So close.
We have to see where he picked up the puck, and we didn't on that replay exactly whether he's straddling the line or not. Nice pass. Offside, according to the officials. Not only does Gartner, but everybody else here has to live with that.
2 teams at full strength. First game in the medal round for the 2 teams. Czechoslovakia leading this one 4-2. Canada will play Sweden in their next game and then wind up on Monday against the Soviet Union. The Soviets earlier today. Here's a chance for Goulet. Hit the post. Michel Goulet run that off the goal post as he was set up home free. What a glorious opportunity. Now a chance for Czechoslovakia, and Wamsley comes out of the net to smother that. Back to the line, Uvira's shot is blocked. Another drive, and that's knocked out. A shot from the side, and Walmsley covers up as play really opens up here midway in the second period.
Well, Michel Goulet, who in this past year scored 57 goals with the Quebec Nordique. Look at this. Just picking the far side at his man beat. Kralik down, but the puck's coming back out off the post. And then the other end, same thing. Close call for Walmsley. Look at the traffic in front of the net there as Rusnak, number 18, took a whack in the rear end from Walmsley.
So 12:45 gone in the second period. What a glorious scoring opportunity. Michel Goulet ringing it off the goalpost. As I was saying, the game earlier today, the Soviets beat Sweden 4-0. This is Cadlet deep in his own zone. Had the puck knocked off his stick. Dave Taylor trying to dig it loose. Marcel Dion goes in there to help out. Dion and Taylor trying to come up with it. Gainey then collides with the Czechoslovakian player, and it comes to the center ice area. Brought over the line now. Cadlet clears it, and that's broken up. Dave Taylor comes back for Canada. The pass was behind Marcel Dion. Richter gets it up on the left side. Coming in, Ruzicka. Oh, and it goes off the stick of the Team Canada player, Bob Gainey. Gainey trying to clear it with Walmsley out of the net, and it slides off his stick right into the net. Ruzicka will be given credit for the goal. And boy, do you hang your head low when something like that happens.
Well, Bob Gainey doesn't put a stick on it. It goes to the man anyway, and it's in the net. Walmsley was tangled up to his own man. Gainey there, but there was another man further off the picture on the left side who would have had the open net to shoot at. So, poor Bob. Just feel sorry for him. He's back-checking all the way, doing his job. And here comes the fake shot and the pass. Gainey will come into your picture. Racing in there into the slot is Chernik, but he intercepted it.
Perfect deflection by Bob Gainey.
Goodness.
Boy, 5-2 now for Czechoslovakia. Ruzicka gets credit for the goal. As it goes off Bob Gainey's stick right into his own net. 13:44 gone in the second period.
Marcel Dion being attended to at the bench. Nothing too serious.
He's coming off a 56-goal season with the Los Angeles Kings. 12 years in the National Hockey League.
Team Canada opening it up a bit as they're behind it. I think they've tried to open it up a little too early, and they're paying the price.
You got to look back at that Michel Goulet ringing it off the goalpost, too. That could be the turning point of the game, because if it's in, they're down by one. But now, as Czechoslovakia capitalizes on a miscue, and it's a 3-goal margin. And they have the puck again. Chernik gets it ahead to Yuri Lala. Lala in the corner. He's bumped off the puck, and there's a mix-up. Chernik, along with James Patrick. Chernik has his helmet off and his gloves. He's ready to swing away. Patrick still has his gloves on, so we'll wait and see how referee Uhala handles this.
Young James Patrick, 6'1", 195 pounds. Big fella playing in North Dakota now. They say he is capable of being a star in the National Hockey League right now, under a great deal of pressure from the New York Rangers to abandon the Olympic program and go turn professional. They say he can play with the Rangers right now or come with the fall. And he is headed for the penalty box.
So Patrick and František Chernik in the penalty box. 14-10, and they'll get minor penalties. Minor penalties to Patrick and to Chernik.
You know, you get the feeling, Bernie, in this game that the final score is going to be something like 8-7. It's the strange kind of goals that are going in. Canada seems to be working hard for theirs. Everything's going wrong for the Canadian Team Canada right now.
And Czechoslovakia with the puck now. Cadlet drops it over to the far side. Orjak in behind his own net, then he dumps it up the middle. Here's a chance for Canada's Reinhardt. He slaps away at it. And going after it was Daryl Sittler, but it was knocked away from him. Long shot by Lukács. Bouncing puck comes to Daryl Sittler. Sittler leaves it behind the net for Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg gets a pass ahead now. Coming up and cleared into the Czechoslovakian zone right on. Stopped by goaltender Yuri Kralik. Reinhardt, Darrell Sittler, Bob Gainey, and Hartsburg out there for Team Canada. As Reinhardt goes after it, it's icing called against Czechoslovakia with the face-off coming to the right of goaltender Yuri Kralik. He's backed up by Dominik Hasek, a youngster with the Czechoslovakian team. And there's Coach Dave King and Ludi Bukac, who played one time in the Central Hockey League back in 1964, and Derek Sanderson was one of his teammates that year, along with Terry Crisp, and Terry is doing quite a job in the OHA. Now to the action in the corner. It's taken by Ruzicka. Ruzicka spins behind the net, lost his balance, then picks the puck up again and brings it out. Bob Gainey had him lined up, but he sidestepped that check from Gainey, and the puck cleared. Walmsley out of the net, feeds it ahead to Bob Gainey. Gainey up to the center ice area for Team Canada, trailing on the pass. The play is Scott Stevens. Swings it in front. Here's Stevens going after it. Stevens for Canada, keeps it in. Over to Marcel Dion to Gainey. Gainey spun around, gets it back to Stevens, a shot. Dion into the corner for Team Canada. Dion back to the line. Brian Engblom, the drive. That's knocked out. He gets it again. Engblom getting set right on, and that's deflected wide. And Gainey's hauled down, no penalty there. Marcel Dion, a shot right through the crease. Dion going after it. He's bumped along the boards there with Ruzicka. Engblom keeps it in. Now it's shot down the ice. It'll be icing against Czechoslovakia. As back to touch it is Scott Stevens. And Ron, they were really putting the pressure on there.
It was moving around the puck, but almost by accident. It just seemed to me that nothing was really planned and things were happening that nobody was expecting, and still the pressure carried on simply because it kept coming back to members of Team Canada. But Canada really, I don't think they really expected a great offensive effort from Bob Gainey, who is not and will never, ever admit to being an offensive-type player. But he got right in there, sent it out into the slot, and I don't think Scott Stevens really expected it.
Here's a chance for Reinhardt. A shot, he scores! Reinhardt, right from the face-off. It's won by Dennis Baruch. And Reinhardt blasted home for Team Canada's third goal.
Boy, that kid's got a shot, hasn't he?
Oh, boy.
Here it is, right off the draw. And just leans into it. And over the gloved hand of Yuri Kralik. And Canada now trails by 2. At 8-7 doesn't look like a bad prediction.
Listen to the crowd buzzing here, Ron. There's a lot of Canada boosters as Reinhardt took it right there, and boy, does he let it fly.
Boy, you can't win a draw any better than Dennis Marouk did either. Cleanly, right back to the man he wanted to get the puck to.
And they give an assist as well, Dennis Baruch and Gartner. Now, when did Gartner ever touch the puck? Baruch won the draw right back to Reinhardt, but Gartner will take the assist, I'm sure. Over the line, there's a shot. That's stopped as Ozil lets it go. Pratisak Chernik digs after it, in behind the net, trying to dump it in front. Here's Lala. Yuri Lala, he cleared it right onto the stick of Michel Goulet. We've played 16.5 minutes in the second period. It's now 5-3 for Czechoslovakia, and a break for Czechoslovakia. Chernik in all alone, right in, and he's tripped. And there will be a penalty coming up to Canada, a tripping infraction. And when they say they're good and bad, that's a good penalty. And we'll be back in just a moment.
If your bank loses time managing your business account, you lose money. To manage your company's funds more profitably, your balances must never be idle. Open a Continental Business Management account, and we'll manage your funds electronically, so you earn daily interest and pay down your operating line automatically. At Continental Bank, your money is always in action. Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
Welcome back to the Olympia Holly in Munich, West Germany. This is Bernie Pascal, along with Ron Roosh. Team Canada a man short. Hartsburg in the penalty box for tripping. Craig Hartsburg at 16:45. From the draw, Uvira couldn't handle the puck, and it rolls out to the center ice area, and he brings it deep into his own zone. Uvira for Czechoslovakia. The pass comes to Rusnak. Rusnak over the line to Liba. Liba, number 11, is checked, and it's cleared to the line and out. 20 seconds have expired in the penalty to Craig Hartsburg. A chance now for Lukács. Lukács takes it in behind the net, gives it to Liba, trying to jam it in front. It's underneath goaltender Rick Walmsley. As Czechoslovakia moving the puck around with authority on this power play. Hartsburg in the box for tripping. Look at the Czechoslovakian bench.
Good crowd here to watch this game. Team Canada always a favorite in West Germany. There's a lot of Canadian players have played in this country. Some success. And Dave Gardner recently, this past year, in this country to play.
And, you know, you look at the team from Italy, Ron. Many are calling it Canada Team B. The Bob Manos and the Iannonis. A lot of Canadian players on the team from Italy.
Don't forget Jim Corsi, former
Jim
Edmund
Corsi,
Oiler.
the goaltender, yes. Here's a chance now. Dvorak passes it over right onto the stick of Arnold Kadlec, and he fanned as he tried to clear it in, but he gets it back. This is Kadlec dumping it into the corner. Overa in behind the net. A chance. Zalder trying to move in front. Ruzicka's knocked down, and Team Canada has it. Darryl Sittler. Sittler up over the line with Bob Gainey. Gainey into the corner. Sittler jumped on the loose puck. Now he heads to the bench on a line change. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Craig Hartsburg. Ruzicka for Czechoslovakia. Dropped it. They move in front. Zalder trying to get in front of Walmsley. It goes back to the line. Kept in by Arnold Kadlec. Ruzicka into the corner. Gives it to Richter. Richter drops it back to Dvorak. He passes it over. Gets it again. Dvorak gives it to Zalder. Zalder into the corner. Rusnak in front. And that's stopped by goaltender Walmsley with a little defensive help at the side there by Brian Engblom.
Well, if the first period belonged, let's take a look at this action right here as Ruzicka gets the puck, shoots it into the crowd there. Rick has lost sight of it, and best he can do really is lie there and hope that somewhere underneath all of that padding it is. If the first period really belonged to the play, this second period really has been Paul Reinhardt's. He's really controlled things an awful lot out there, and of course has a goal to show for it.
Knocked down at the line. Czechoslovakia still on the power play. Lala got it in front. 21 seconds left in the penalty to Craig Hartsburg. It's 5-3 for Czechoslovakia, and they jam it along the boards right in front of the Czechoslovakian bench. Craig Hartsburg with 16 seconds left in his tripping infraction. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining to play here in period number 2. Face-off is inside the Team Canada blue line, number 22. That's Ladislav Svozil against number 27 of Canada, Darryl Sittler of the Philadelphia Flyers. Down the ice it goes, and Hartsburg has 9 seconds left in his penalty. In behind his own goal, Milan Halupa got it ahead. A chance for Svozil, showing a good burst of speed. Gets by Reinhardt, still has it. Hartsburg steps on the ice. Chernik behind. Svozil's all tied up there, along with Paul Reinhardt, and digging the puck loose, and it comes ahead to Goulet. Goulet trying to get that long pass on the right side for Marcel Dion. Chernik's shot. That's knocked down by Reinhardt. In behind, jammed at the side, and covering up is Rick Walmsley.
Well, Walmsley, as you see Chernik on the way to the bench. You notice on the power plays, and by the way, the penalty has expired now, the power plays they're using in certain key situations, the fellow who seems to be winning most of the draws and the number one face-off man for Team Canada, Darryl Sittler. And you saw him take the draw, go to the bench as soon as the draw was won. And isn't it interesting the way he won that, golfing it off the backhand all the way down the ice instead of trying to draw it to his own man. He's been turning his shoulder to his face-off opponent.
Darryl Sittler, one of the outstanding performers for Team Canada at these World Championships. And Ron, as you mentioned, very important on those face-offs. 40 seconds left to play in the period. Marcel Dion has it over the line. Oh, and he tried to get it ahead to Goulet, and it was knocked away from him and pinned against the boards. 19-29, 31 seconds left to play.
You see Dave King doesn't hesitate to shuffle his lines too much. He's got Dion out there now with Goulet and Mike Gartner as a combination. It's the Triple Crown line, not functioning as well as King would like it, at this stage in the game at least, or he's trying to give the Czechoslovakian coach a different look out there.
From the draw, it comes right to Czechoslovakia's Lukács coming in front, and Gartner backhands that away. Svoboda is over the line, but it's called on an offside pass with 21 seconds remaining in the period.
I talk about a different look, though. Can you put together a faster line than a line that has Mike Gartner and Michel Goulet on the wings? Marcel Dion gets his passing game in gear, and he can really hit those guys moving up ice. Gartner is one of the great skaters in the National Hockey League, and Goulet is right there with him.
Two players that really dance on their skates. They're outstanding. Czechoslovakia leading by 2 goals. Charlie Simmer moves to the left side now. Sittler comes out to take the face-off outside the line against Poshak, number 21, who won the draw. Comes back to Kadlec. Dvorak, a long shot, and Wamsley got a piece of that, although it might have been off the net. Dave Taylor of the Los Angeles Kings ahead to Charlie Simmer. 7 seconds remaining in the period. Taylor spins around. Oh, and if he had got that pass to Simmer, he would have been home free, but it's called on the offside with 1 second left, and Simmer, no one was near him, but Taylor unfortunately didn't spot him.
Well, you look back on period number 2, and what a strange period of hockey. 3 goals for Czechoslovakia, 2 by Canada. It was 2-1 at the end of the first period. We had a goal post hit by Goulet. We had Bob Gainey put one into his own net that was credited to Ruzicka. And Canada has had to struggle for the ones they've got. Shervin was that goal at 8:14 after Czechoslovakia had scored 2 straight to start the period. Got Canada back into it to make it 4-2. Ruzicka made it 5-2, but then Reinhardt with that hard slap shot making it 5-3. Canada's still very much in this because it's that kind of a game, really, Bernie. It's one of those games you just say to yourself that anything can happen. Just strange things are going to happen.
That's right, and we still have 20 minutes to look forward to, and it should be a great finale to this game with Czechoslovakia leading by 2 goals, and one of our guests coming up in this intermission will be Alan Eagleson. And now, this is the World Hockey Championships coming to you live.
Look in our cans and strike it rich with Quaker State Motor Oil. Over 1,260 instant win prizes to be won worth more than $250,000. You could win a 1983 Chrysler K-Car sedan, a jacuzzi whirlpool bath, an exotic Hawaiian Sunquest vacation, beautiful Spode Chinaware, plus hundreds more instant win prizes worth over $250,000 to be won from Quaker State. Look in our cans and strike it rich. You're always a winner with Quaker State Motor Oil Protection. It's in the can.
My new JVC Compact VCR is the world's smallest, lightest VCR ever. It's ideal for taping graduation, school plays, Halloween. It's loaded with features. Perfect for Christmas morning, Groundhog Day, Little League, Big League.
JVC's new compact VHS video system with the world's smallest, lightest VCR ever.
Buzz off, Buster.
Great sound, too.
From Honda. Brace yourself.
(5-3) the score after 2 periods of play. Czechoslovakia leads Canada, and the game today with Czechoslovakia, also the Saturday game with Sweden, and the Monday game with the Soviet Union, all coming to you on the CTV network, courtesy of the Labatt Brewing Company. And to talk to us today about their involvement in international hockey, President Sid Orland. Sid, the company has not only an extensive involvement, but a long-term involvement. Why international hockey?
Oh, a bunch of reasons. As a rabidly Canadian company, we like to be involved wherever we can, where Canadians are trying to do important things. And in the athletic life of this country, I think re-establishing our ability to win in international hockey is very important. So that's really why.
You've put a lot of time and effort into the Olympic program. Tell us about that. The Olympic program in hockey in Canada has really tailed off over the last few years.
Well, we hope to get it reestablished. That's not us. It's Hockey Canada who's doing that. We hope to be able to help to take some of the publicity and some of the televising and some of the money problems off their hands. They've got Sam Pollock now working on it, and I think it's a much better program than it has been recently.
Are you optimistic about the amateur program?
I think it will be the best program Canada's ever put together because of the people they've got involved.
Canada Cup, you're with that as well?
Yes, we're with that. Well, that's just a lot of fun. I think that's one of the tournaments that gets everybody in Canada excited, and it's probably the tournament where realistically we have the best chance of reestablishing that ability to win.
Is that important to you, the fact that Canada competes very well?
Oh, we like to be involved wherever we can, where Canadians are doing excellent things.
What about the game today? Are you getting pessimistic after what we've seen?
Well, it's such a wild game. No, not really. I think we didn't have as good a period as we might have last time, but then we could have a better one next time and win. I certainly hope we do.
Since 1972, when there was rabid interest in this country in international hockey, we've hit peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. It seems to depend on how well our team is doing. And this club getting into the medal round, improving with every game, really seems to help create interest.
Yeah, well, Canada is not Toronto, evidently. We do get more interested when teams are doing well. But Canada Cup hockey will always interest Canadians. When it comes to TV audiences, I'm sure you know, we always draw very well.
How are we going to do today?
In an audience? I hope we do well, but that's not important. The important thing is that I hope the players know they're being seen back home, and maybe that helps them a little bit.
Sid, thank you very much, not only for being here today, but for your involvement in international hockey for years to come. Goes to 1988, is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
That's marvelous. We'll be back with more World Hockey Championships right after this.
Paul, I'd like you to meet my niece, Vicky.
Hello.
You're looking for a disguise, Vicky? After last week, she should be. Her Lotterio numbers came up, the one she uses every week.
Congratulations.
But I forgot to play.
Oh, no.
Yes. But we're going to play this week and every week from now on.
Play your numbers, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, this is my nephew, Gordon.
If you want to win, you've got to play. Oh, Lotterio, it's such fun.
No matter what you're driving, in sun or rain or snow, Firestone makes a tire to keep you on the go.
You can afford Firestone quality. Save up to $100 on a set of 4 721 steel-belted radial tires. Yes, save up to $100 on a set of 4 721 radial tires. Now that's the value of Firestone.
Wherever you're going, we're gonna get you home. That's the value of Firestone.
The new Gruen look is here. Gruen quartz technology from around the world creates the finest styles for your individual tastes. A legacy of time continues with the introduction of a totally unique, unconditional 3-year guarantee. This guarantee, as you would expect from Gruen, is unsurpassed. Today's new choice, Gruen, the precision watch since 1874.
5-3 is the score. Canada 2 goals back with 20 minutes yet to play. Tom Watt here with us to talk about and look at some of the featured highlights of that period.
Well, I think the first two that we have, there's some excellent points before we start rolling the highlights. I think the pressure on teams in both zones, a lack of pressure. Canada didn't go after the Czechoslovakian team when they were killing a penalty. They let the Czechoslovakian team bring it out of their zone, and they pay for it dearly right at the beginning of the period. And then we see what Czechoslovakia does in terms of pressuring John Anderson in the neutral zone, and a goal results from it. And I think they're interesting contrasts, and I'd like to watch the first two highlights now if we could. And the first one comes on a Czechoslovakian power play. Now you see the one Team Canada man in deep, no pressure. There's the other guy turning, no pressure. Here Rusnak just moves all the way down the ice all by himself, 3-on-1, nobody challenges him. The third man, or the second man, comes in after 3 of check 1. Now watch the Team Canada man Anderson. He's got the puck. There's the first Czechoslovakian player checking him. There's the other one coming to get him. There's the third. The fourth, what do you mean play their wings? There's 4 men after. They force the turnover in the neutral zone. They come right back down the ice. Bingo, the puck's in the net. There's what pressure does when you force turnovers in all zones. Well, Team Canada gets back. Young Shervin hadn't played very much. Here he starts the play off, makes a nice little play. Back to Gainey. Gainey back to the point. And watch Shervin. You don't see him. He's out of your picture, and then he comes back in front of the net. He's lost by the Czechoslovakian defenseman, and he makes the tip. There's the play of moving the puck and then going to the net. There's no good just moving the puck. Here's Shervin again with a score 4-2, and what a play this was. Makes that nice little scoop pass over the Czechoslovakian defender, right onto Goulet's stick. And oh, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it was 4-2 at that point. If he scores here, it's 4-3, but he hits the post. Now Richter, who is one of my favorites with the Czechoslovakian team, just makes a great pass. Long pass to Ruzicka. Now look at Marcel Dion. He's in coast on this side. Look at there, becomes the 2-on-1, and poor Bob Gainey, trying to get back to check that last man, really deflects the puck into his zone net, and that's a shame. Walmsley played it right. He has to play the original shot. He's not supposed to play the pass, but he's caught out of position. Now here's the importance of a face-off. Dennis Merck wins the draw, and then watch what he does. He goes to the net. Gartner goes to the net from the far side. Reinhardt's got all kinds of time to put everything he's got into the shot, but it's the importance of winning the draw and then going to the net. And I think in each one of those goals, we had technical little points, especially on the first two, about putting pressure. Team Canada put no pressure in terms of the forechecking when they were short-handed, and they paid for it. And then Czechoslovakia, on the other hand, putting a lot of pressure on a puck carrier, forcing the turnover in the neutral zone, and then coming right back with a goal themselves.
What about the goaltending? It looks like the Czechs are getting stronger goaltending than the Canadians.
Well, you know, it's hard to say. I think perhaps on the second goal that we saw in the highlight, perhaps Walmsley could have stopped down, but what are you going to hit him for the goal that Gainey puts in his own net? I mean, I don't really think that he's played poorly. I just think that in that period, Czechoslovakia put more pressure on the Team Canada puck carriers and constantly forced turnovers.
Can we come back in the last period?
Oh, sure, we can come back, and always come back. And I think certainly if Shervin's, that was a super pass.
Well,
on the Goulet. If that puck was in the net, it's 4-3. You know, who knows what's going to happen.
Only down 2. We'll be right back.
There's just one way to say, escape the routine. Class of the field, leader of the pack. Excitement. Pontiac builds excitement.
Feel a rush of pure excitement. Thrill to one of the most sensational cars of our times. Take out a Firebird and take on the world.
Now, low 12.9% financing.
You got it, Pontiac.
Excitement.
Jump in, take us way up high. Lie back, see the world go by. A kaleidoscope of color. It's a dance across the sky. Blue smiles along with dew. There we caught you smiling.
And we now go back to Munich. Ron Roosh has Alan Eagleson.
Thanks, Dan, and we're back at the Olympia Halle in Munich, where Team Canada is trailing Czechoslovakia by a score of 5-3. Alan Eagleson has joined us. And Alan, it's been a little frustrating. You look at what's going on there. Some strange things have happened, especially to Team Canada.
It's been tough. The first period, they had 3 or 4 shots on goal, the Czechs, and suddenly they had 2 goals. In the second period, we're coming back to life. Goulet hits the post, and they come down and score. And then Bob Gainey, unfortunately, tried to intercept the pass, knock it to the corner, and put it into our net. We still got time. Rick Walmsley came up with a couple of big saves. It's tough. I'm just happy the way the team has played in a disciplined manner. It's a credit to Dave King and the coaching staff, because with the frustrations that they must feel now, it's unusual for a Canadian team to behave themselves as well as these fellows are.
Speaking of frustrations, every year, 3 or 4 times a year, you go in against Soviets negotiating various things. Right now, I guess, most people across Canada are wondering how you're making out with perhaps the release of a few player contracts to the National Hockey League from the Soviet
think the
Union.
change in position in the federation of the different personnel is going to delay that at least past 1984. We met with the Soviets yesterday for about 2 hours, and at that time they indicated that there was no chance whatsoever during the 83-84 season. In addition, John Ziegler was at the meeting, and we decided that it would not be in the NHL's best interest to have a visit from the Soviet team in 83-84, but rather we will direct our efforts both to Team Canada and Team USA Olympic programs.
Speaking of that, a couple of things coming up. Of course, the Olympic program is of prime concern right now.
Well, Labatt's commitment to the Olympic program and to Team Canada over here and to the Canada Cup are now going to make everything much easier for us financially. The rights for the Canada Cup have been purchased by Labatt for 84. We're satisfied that it'll be a great tournament and on to a great Olympic program. And thanks to Sam Pollock, who's back home. And Sam, we miss you over here. Get back quickly.
Okay. Alan, thank you very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, and thanks very much for having me.
Alan Eagleson joining us here. We're just about set to start the third period of this game between Canada and Czechoslovakia, and we'll be right back.
With cars, a little problem can lead to big trouble if it isn't discovered in time. That's why Gulf dealers offer a year-round car care program with special maintenance packages 4 times a year. Right now, it's the spring tune-up. Look for the signs at participating dealers. A well-maintained car just has to work better and save you a lot of trouble. Gulf, we perform. You get the value.
Back to Munich, West Germany. This is Bernie Pascal, along with Ron Roosh, as we get set to start the third period of play. And you see some of the Team Canada supporters in this crowd at the Olympia Holly. And boy, it's spring-like weather here in West Germany. It was 63 degrees Fahrenheit today, 17 Celsius. And it's just been beautiful weather. And what a beautiful area, Ron. You're most familiar, of course, with Munich, West Germany, having lived here at one point. But it is just a fascinating area and beautiful city.
It is. You always know it's spring in Munich when the tables are out on the sidewalks and the restaurants are in full swing, and there was a lot of that today. Very, very enjoyable. Let's see if we can make this a little more enjoyable for fans across Canada as we go into this third period. The big danger right now, of course, with 20 minutes remaining in this hockey game, you're dealing with professionals out there, and you would think it wouldn't happen, and that is to try and open things up too much where you start getting caught on those 2-and-1s, and suddenly it's not anymore 5-3, but it's 7-3, and now you're in a very deep hole. So I think that Team Canada really doesn't want to get out of its game going into this third period. The first goal of this, if they can get a goal in the first 5 minutes of this period, suddenly it's a 1-goal hockey game, and you're on your way. But the danger is always, as you see some of the fans again enjoying this one here in Munich. Bernie's mentioned the fans coming down from the Canadian Services bases and from across Canada have come over to see this tournament.
Of course, it's just after 10 p.m. here in West Germany. This game, of course, live on the full CTV network. It's a few minutes after 10 p.m. here, a few minutes after 1 in the afternoon on the West Coast in Vancouver. We hope wherever you're watching this game today, you're enjoying our CTV coverage as Czechoslovakia leading Team Canada 5-3. Referee Juhola of Finland drops the puck. The third period is underway. Canada gets possession right off the bat. Sittler passes on the right side. Over the line goes John Anderson, and he tried to get it in front, and it was knocked away. Hartsburg is on defense for Team Canada with Doug Hallward, number 2. Broken stick lying on the ice. Hallward slaps it out of danger. And now Svozil drops it back to Yuri Lala. Czechoslovakia, their own side of the center red line. Now Benok will try to bring it out with Yuri Lala. Lala delayed offside, but Canada gets it and clears it out. John Anderson coming up with Brian Frost. Anderson coming in front of the net, knocked off his stick. Hartsburg slaps at it, and Hallward is back to cover up for Canada. Hallward to Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg takes it in. Canada caught on a line change as Hartsburg is pinned against the boards. And it's brought out in a long shot by Svoboda. Gartner checks. Liba and Stevens now for Canada. This is Stevens. Drops it into the middle to Dennis Baruch. Over to Gartner. Gartner's shot. Trying to get the short side, and that's stopped by goaltender Yuri Kralik. We've played a minute 20 as that drive by Goulet is stopped by goaltender Kralik. Good opportunity by Goulet as he spun around, and the puck is held in the corner.
Good chance for Goulet. Spun and pulled the trigger quickly. That's the way you score over 50 goals a year. Got it in the slot. You know, I'm watching the line changes, and the last line change Team Canada had, and there's the quick trigger there by Goulet and a good save by Kralik. They're slow, and one of the reasons I think they're slow is those boards are so high. They really have to scale a wall to climb over the boards and get on the ice.
There haven't been too many complimentary remarks about the ice surface here either. They've had to delay the game on a couple of occasions to fix up patches on the ice. And talking to NHL referee Ron Fournier, who is representing the NHL officiating here, he said the ice has really been one of the troubled areas here at the championships in Munich. Dennis Baruch, he clears the puck right to Scott Stevens, who goes back behind his own net. As we approach the 2-minute mark here in the third period, Gartner deflects the puck into the Czechoslovakian zone. This could be icing. Back for Dvorak, and icing is called, and we'll be right back in a moment.
When you're feeling up and your friends are near, get a Lavash Light. Lavash Light. All you want in a beer. All you want in a beer. Now ain't that nice? So nice. Lavash Light on ice. Lavash Light on ice. Tastes light and smooth. So smooth. And goes down so nice. And goes down so nice. Let's get a Lavash Light.
Play just underway. Tim Waters of Team Canada shoots the puck down the ice. And again, icing indicated. Bannock gets back. And they'll bring the face-off right back into the Team Canada zone to the left of goaltender Rick Walmsley, as the coaching staff led by Bukac at the Czechoslovakian bench.
Talking very animatedly are they behind that bench. They know, of course, as we mentioned at the start of this period, Canada can get one early here, and suddenly they're back in the game.
Hotchek, Wallach, and Salder, the forward line for Team Czechoslovakia. Bob Gainey's out there for Canada with Taylor and Marcel Dion. Dion clears it to an open wing. A race for it there. Halupa got to it. Both teams at full strength as Salder now comes out of his own zone to the Team Canada blue line. He was stopped, and James Patrick, a lead pass for Marcel Dion. Into the Czechoslovakian zone. Yuri Kralik out of the net. Dion trying to dig the puck loose, but it's brought back now by big number 21, Dusan Paschak. A weak bouncing shot goes into the corner where Paul Reinhardt is after it there. Reinhardt came right over to the World Championships once Calgary eliminated by the Edmonton Oilers. Stepped off the plane and got into the lineup. Now here comes Canada over the line, but it's called on an offside. A little difficult to hear the whistle that time, blown by Gustavo Alamo of Italy, one of the linesmen.
Well, Team Canada behind 5-3 here in the third period. Uphill is Dr. Ludic Bukac. Rudy Bukac. Taught hockey at the University of Calgary, along with some of the other things you mentioned, Bernie. Lectured at York University. Took over this team in 1980 and really has nothing to show for it, but he's been rebuilding a team that has been hurt by defections, by age, mostly by defections, of course, with the Stastny brothers gone. It's a very, very young hockey team. And there's one of the young fellows there, Jussi Kralik.
Well, you mentioned, too, the players, the Stastnys, of course, in Quebec, Ron, but you look around, Dvorak in Philadelphia, Halinka and Bubla in Vancouver, Novi in Washington, Inachuk. Boy, there's a lot of them. They'd like to have those players in the lineup here. Of course, they have Dvorak, the first professional ever to play for Czechoslovakia in the World Hockey Championship. Dvorak, a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. Here's a shot. Drop. Scores.
Canada just got a break.
What a break there. The puck came in front to Brian Kropp, and the Team Canada bench empty. Kropp, making no mistake, jumping on the loose puck, and one goal separates the two teams.
Watch it come off the skate. The puck deflecting out in front of the net. Here it comes now, and it just winds up on Kropp's stick. It was going to hit the defenseman and probably roll across the goal mouth, instead out in front past Lala and right onto Kropp's stick. Here it comes. You get a better view of it here. From the corner, moving in there is Reinhardt. Now here it is. Sittler out off the skate and right to Brian Trump. And Canada hasn't had any of these in this game where it bounced their way. Suddenly, it's a one-goal hockey game. The goal they needed. Coming at 3:31. Brian Trump, a 40-goal scorer with the Philadelphia Flyers. Another shot right from the draw. John Anderson sinking in. Oh, what a big lift that'll be for Team Canada as Trump scores from Daryl Sittler and Paul Reinhart. And we have played just 3 minutes, 36 seconds in the third period. 5-4 for Czechoslovakia. The face-off in the Czechoslovakian zone to the left of goaltender Yuri Kralik. Daryl Sittler will take the draw, wins it, and Paul Reinhart just failed to reach it. But he has it now. Gives it to Craig Hartsburg. Backhands it ahead. Brian Propp let it go. He would have been offside. Reinhart now, number 7 for Team Canada. Up to Daryl Sittler. He clears it in. Anderson went in after it. It hit a weird spot on the boards and came right back in front. Now a break. Oh, almost a lead pass there for Czechoslovakia's Vincent Lukács. Walmsley out of the net. Ahead to Propp, trying to get it in the middle to Daryl Sittler. And it's dropped back into the Czechoslovakian zone. This is Benok. Benok gets it up on the left wing side. Bollock clears it in behind the net. And Rusnak tried to jam it on the short side, and he was stopped. Now Canada on the attack again, over the line, and hauled down is Paul Reinhart. He looks at the referee, but no penalty. And you can hear the whistling from the spectators. They thought there should have been one, at least the Canadian supporters. 5-4 for Czechoslovakia. Number 12 is Pavel Richter. He has the puck over the Team Canada line. 3-on-1. Richter coming in. A shot jammed at the short side, and Brian Engblom makes a great play. We'll be right back.
The Energizer.
Miss Green, do you plan to listen to that music for the rest of the day?
Sure do. Just put in the Energizer.
Of all leading battery brands, nothing outlasts the Energizer from Ever-Ready. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing outadds, outwalks, outplays, outtapes, outshines, outlasts it. Nothing.
If only Miss Green worked as long as the Energizer.
The Energizer. Energize for life.
Long life.
Energize me.
They're in the corner. Jamming there with Yuri Hardina, and he pins him along the boards to get a whistle. Canada trailing by just 1 goal, and that last one, Ron, no doubt will give them a revitalized approach to this game.
But they got out of the game a little bit, and suddenly, as a check was attempted at the blue line, there was a 3-on-1, and thanks to Brian Engblom, and there aren't too many in the National Hockey League better at handling those 2-on-1, 3-on-1 type situations than Brian. Over his years with the Canadians and now with the Washington Capitals, and he broke that one up himself. And that's what you don't want now. It's a 1-goal hockey game.
Now Marcel Dion trying to dig the puck loose there. It comes to Vladimir Salder. He gets it out to 21, Pashak. Over the line now goes Bollock. Bollock, and there's a slashing penalty coming up. A shot. That stopped Canada. A delayed penalty coming against Team Canada as Walmsley stops that. Coming over to get it is Gainey, and it's touched there by Patrick. And now the penalty coming up as the Finnish referee, Jahola, calls the slashing infraction.
It'll be slashing to Patrick, and put a little bit too much into that one as the attacking forward tried to circle the net. Well, now Canada has to kill one off here. They have already been stung for 2 power play goals in this game.
Daryl Sittler comes out with Bob Gainey, Craig Hartsburg, and Paul Reinhart to kill off the penalty. The face-off in the Team Canada zone, and here it is, Ron.
He got a little step on him, and it's a pretty good slash right there over the forearm of Valek, and that drew it right away. You see the referee at the bottom of your picture.
Time of the penalty, 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the third period. Hartsburg gets his stick on it and shoots it down the ice. Arnold Cadley leaves it in his own zone. Czechoslovakia on the power play, leading by 1 goal. Bringing it over the line. Here's a chance now for Liba. Liba getting set, right in the middle, a drive, and that's stopped by Walmsley. And again, Hartsburg shoots it down the ice. Back for it goes to Dvorak. a second-team All-Star at the championships last year in Finland. Now a member of the NHL Philadelphia Flyers. Miroslav Dvorak up on the right side. Hartsburg had Ruzicka all lined up, and he just sidestepped him. Reinhardt gives it to Bob Gainey. Gainey backhands it off the boards and down the ice. Ron, they're doing a good job of killing off this penalty. 1:05 remaining in the penalty to James Patrick of Team Canada. Patrick, the youngster from Saskatchewan, who is playing at North Dakota University. Off the boards on the right side, Hartsburg breaks that up again. And he's been instrumental in clearing the puck down on 3 different occasions on this Czechoslovakian power play as they wind up once again in their own side of center. Up over the line goes Lala. Gives it to Pavel Richter. Richter back behind the net to Lala. Lala swings around, watched by Hartsburg. Richter calls for the pass. He gets it, number 12. Richter drops it back to the line and outside the blue line. 19 seconds left in the Team Canada penalty. Brought back in by Yuri Lala. He has 2 goals for Czechoslovakia tonight. There's Hartsburg breaking it up again, and it's cleared out. Patrick has 5 seconds left in his minor penalty. One last attempt here on the power play as Richter brings it in. In front, Rusnak is shot. As Patrick steps on the ice, Canada back at full strength. And Hartsburg was out there for most of that 2-minute power play opportunity for Czechoslovakia. 7 minutes and 45 seconds have been played here in the third period. Czechoslovakia 5 and Canada 4. Dennis Maruk up over the line. Coming in with Gartner, a shot. And that goes wide. Going after it is Gordon Shervin, number 10. Shervin had trouble. It comes back to Brian Engblom. Up on the right side to Gartner. He clears it in off the board. A race there. Maruk goes after it. Got by him. Shervin then collides with his own player. Shervin goes down heavily as he and Scott Stevens collided. And Shervin goes to the bench. And he's hurt. Now it's brought out by Brian Propp. Propp got it outside the line, then was stopped. It's a chance now for Potjak. He's hauled down. Another Team Canada penalty. A tripping infraction.
Stevens going to get it, and
we'll be right back here in West Germany.
Budweiser salutes everyone who works so we can play.
Our best for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. For all you do, our best to you.
Yeah, this Bud's for you if you like your beer with a distinctively clean, crisp Beechwood age taste and smoothness that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
well, there's Scott Stevens in the penalty box, off for tripping at 8:33. This is the 3rd straight power play that the Czechoslovakian national team has had against Canada. Canada's killed them all off so far, but they have had 2 power play goals scored against them. The old line, and they say it year after year after year, and this is perhaps the best disciplined team we've seen come to these World Championships. Shervin is now heading towards the clinic. He appears to have a towel up around his mouth. He may have taken a stick or an elbow up around his mouth within that collision with his own teammate. Scott Stevens is a big fella. A heavy collision. I thought he was winded when he went to the bench. Obviously a little more than that. But you don't take penalties, and the Team Canada is taking them right now.
So another power play opportunity for Czechoslovakia. They lead 5-4, and the puck bounces off the boards right back into the Czechoslovakian zone. Kadlec, number 8. As we approach the 9-minute mark here in period number 3. Canada a man short as Lukács sends it behind the net. Rusnak backhands it, nobody there. And Rusnak fires it back into his own zone. 1:30 left in the penalty to Scott Stevens of Canada. This is Miroslav Dvorak up over the line, trying to get it to Liba, and Canada breaks that up, but it's a delayed offside called at the Team Canada blue line.
Greg Hartsburg, 12 goals and 50 assists with Minnesota. this past year. You talked about Paul Reinhardt. They had a police escort to get him to the airport so he could get over here to play the first game that Canada played after Calgary was eliminated. It wasn't quite so easy for Hartsburg. He missed that game, but he has become a part of a very young, inexperienced in a way defense, but it's been a pretty good one here at this tournament.
1:21 left in the penalty to Scott Stevens of the Washington Capitals, and Czechoslovakia leading 5-4. This is Craig Hartsburg. Hartsburg pinned against the boards by Chernik. In helping out, Gartner's upset. There will be a penalty. Tripping infraction now to Czechoslovakia. I believe it's Yuri Lala. Or Chernik perhaps going to the box. There it is. František Chernik for tripping. And there's 1:04 left in Stevens' penalty.
What a terrible time to take a penalty. Chernik, great time if you're cheering for Team Canada. Well, you're in on offense. You just don't do that sort of thing. The penalty coming at 9:29, so in about a little less than a minute, 4 seconds less than a minute, Canada is going to have a manpower advantage, barring further penalties.
We've played 9 minutes and 29 seconds then in the third period. Czechoslovakia outscored Canada 2-1 in the first, 3-2 in the second. And Canada has scored the only goal here of period number 3. That's how it stands at 5-4, Czechoslovakia leading. Canada's next game will be Saturday against Sweden. A game to be televised live on CTV. And then, of course, next Monday, Canada will play the Soviet Union. Here's Halupa getting a shot. That's knocked down. Sittler trying to get it out. Kept in by Yuri Lala. He's bumped against the boards. Digging for it. And Paul Reinhardt lifts it out to the center ice area where Pashak clears it inside his own blue line. Now he gets it back. Here comes Pashak in all alone. A shot. And Walmsley stops that. Engblom for Team Canada. Watched by Pashak. Clears it ahead. Reinhardt over the line. And it's called on an offside pass. And it'll come back to the Team Canada side of that center red line.
By the way, a name, of course, obviously not being said, and one that I'm sure many fans are asking, where is he, is Dudacek, the top European draft choice ever. Scotty Bowman drafted him, and is still trying to talk Czechoslovakia into releasing him to play in the National Hockey League, but he's run into all kinds of physical problems. Last year it was a breathing problem, and this year more. We'll tell you the rest about it later.
12 seconds remaining in the penalty to Scott Stevens. 1:08 left in the Czechoslovakian penalty to Chernik. Here's Reinhardt going after the puck. Comes up with it in the Czechoslovakian zone. Then he's pinned against the boards. While we have a moment, I'd like to convey our thanks to Doug Kelcher and the folks at Labatt's for their cooperation in helping us bring these telecasts to you from the Olympia Halle in West Germany. Labatt's and Doug Kelcher, who's representing them here in West Germany, has been most cooperative. And, of course, our thanks to West German Television, along with Vice President of CTV Sports, Johnny Esau, Business Manager Oliver Baberad. And they've worked extremely hard in the last few days setting up these live telecasts as Team Canada plays in the medal round of the World Hockey Championships. And we have a discussion here with referee Yahala signaling players over to the penalty box.
I don't know what's happened here. Scott Stevens has got exactly 1 second left in his penalty, and they're going to have a stick measurement. We are going to have a stick measurement. Now, Team Canada, I believe, has called for it.
It's the stick of Arnold Cadlet.
And Canada right now trailing by a goal with when the penalty is over to Scott Stevens, 57 seconds left in that power play, looking to get a two-man advantage. And
linesman's chasing the players back.
And
Cadlet says it's my stick.
He's really talking down there. He is upset. Of course, they don't have that ring that they paint around the penalty box area in the National Hockey League and international hockey. You have to chase them away. But this is a stick measurement.
They're putting it on the ice now.
They don't.
Here it's 1.5 centimeters. In the National Hockey League, it's half an inch. Chernick gets a stick back. Team Canada will get a penalty. It is not an illegal stick, and Chernick is the happiest person in this building.
How did they measure it? I wonder if they have the equipment here. It's not done. It's something that's not done in international hockey. We all know the Soviet sticks are all almost, without exception, illegal. I think we could have gone all night with that game in Philadelphia, the final game of the Soviet NHL series. Well, the stick is correct.
Last year in Finland, they didn't have a measuring device, so they used a coin. They couldn't really see what they were using down on the boards. Then they decided to put it on the ice, and it ends up that Cadlet's stick is legal. So Canada will get the penalty. Patrick in the penalty box as it backfires on Team Canada.
You know who was on the ice when the stick measurement was asked for was Daryl Sittler. Now, he is, as part of that Philadelphia team, they have never been wrong, or seldom wrong. One year, I think they had 30 straight calls in which they were successful. Everybody was wondering who in the world it was that was spotting it on the bench, but Sittler told me during the telecast out of Philadelphia during the Soviet series that they all look for it. They all have got a kind of a trained eye. In any case, it was asked for. It has failed. Canada, in effect, will play an extra minute shorthanded. Now we're at the 10:32 mark of the period. Teams are at even strength, or will be when in the 1 second that it's required for Stevens to come on the ice. But then Canada will be shorthanded at the tag end of the penalty to Chernick for 1:02.
So Stevens' penalty has expired. He's been called over to the bench by Dave King, and Bob Gainey steps on to replace him. Here comes Hartsburg. Hartsburg at center. Up over the line, and it's icing indicated by one linesman. Now the other linesman sees him and blows the whistle. And the face-off brought back into the Team Canada zone with 42 seconds left in the penalty to Chernick. And for Team Canada's Patrick, 1:45 remaining in his penalty. Czechoslovakia leading Team Canada by a score of 5-4. Brian Propp scoring from Sittler and Reinhardt at 3:31 of this third period. And we played 10 minutes and 48 seconds here in period number 3. Bob Gainey, number 23, drops it back, and it's head now to Paul Reinhardt. Cleared off the stick of Daryl Sittler into the Czechoslovakian zone, where Cadletz is after it there. Gainey checked him. Comes to the Czechoslovakian line, then knocked down. Sittler keeps it in for Canada. Reinhardt was going one way, the puck the other. And out of the net is Rick Walmsley to cover up. Liba in deep for Czechoslovakia, number 11. He's knocked against the boards by Paul Reinhardt. Hartsburg, number 5, has it for Team Canada. Drops it back to Mike Gardner. Czechoslovakia is back at full strength, so Canada, a man short, 1 minute remaining in the penalty to James Patrick. So Czechoslovakian team on the power play, Chernick. He leaves it there for Yuri Lala. Lala gets by one check, coming up on the right side. Moving in now with Pashak. Lala to Pashak, a shot, loose puck, and Walmsley covers up and makes the save.
Good job by Scott Stevens there, right in front of the net. 38 seconds left in the power play now. He went down. He's learning a little bit, I think, from Brian Engblom, who he played with all year. They're the two of them, Engblom and Stevens. Stevens down, blocks any further play in front of the net. And then Walmsley covers up, going to his knees on that loose puck.
A lot of NHL representation here. Bob Berry of the Montreal Canadiens, Jake Milford, Arthur Griffith Jr. of the Vancouver Canucks, Cliff Fletcher of the Calgary Flames, Barry Fraser, the chief scout of the Edmonton Oilers, Glenn Sonmore, Lou Nanne of Minnesota. Most NHL teams are represented, and Jerry McNamara, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, had a chat with Jerry earlier today.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers, who are having so much success in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, looking with great deal of interest at Gord Sherman, who is one of their players, a 10th round pick. Boy, Edmonton has really had some success in the later rounds of the draft. It's showing on the ice right now, but also with some of the up-and-comers.
Daryl Sittler gets set for the face-off against Ruzicka with 28 seconds left in the Team Canada penalty, being served by Patrick, as Canada called for a stick measurement on Arnold Cadlett, and it backfired as the stick was legal. So Canada, a man short. Patrick now has 17 seconds left in his penalty. Bringing the puck out, Ruzicka gets over the Team Canada line. Engblom then took him out of the play. Hartsburg gives it to Brian Engblom. He clears it back into the Czechoslovakian zone. Kralik out of the net, and the penalty now has expired. Canada is back in full strength. Richter has it now for Czechoslovakia. Clears it, nobody there, but he goes in after it. Richter gets to it for Czechoslovakia, drops it back to the line. A drive by Dvorak is stopped. And Dave Taylor, number 18 for Canada, ahead to Marcel Dion. Coming in with Paul Reinhardt. Dion over the line, and it's called on the offside. And this is the World Hockey Championships.
Come on, Shepherd, give me that good old outdoor flavor without that bad old word. 'Cause I love that outdoor flavor, hate that bad old word. Give me that Shepherd outdoor flavor.
Easy to reach controls, lights every time ignition, scientifically proportioned grill for even all-over heat. That's why new Shepherd gas barbecues make it so easy to get that good old outdoor flavor.
Give me that Shepherd outdoor flavor without that bad old word. Come on, Shepherd.
The Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany. Czechoslovakia leading Canada by a score of 5-4. The puck almost stolen in front there. Some good digging by Dave Taylor. Now it's cleared off the boards into the Team Canada zone. Doug Hallward goes back, touches it. Icing called against Czechoslovakia.
Well, let's see what happens now. Who do you put out to take the draw? It's a key one. I don't see many icings, of course, in international hockey. To the right of your screen there is Jean Perron, former coach. I guess he still is the coach at the University of Moncton. Assistant coach on our Olympic team program, and of course Dave King, University of Saskatchewan.
And George Kingston from the University of Calgary. So
a triumvirate.
That's right. What a job they've done.
They're going to use Marouk to take the draw here.
Dennis Marouk had it momentarily. Now here's a chance. A shot by Michel Goulet. And Kralik stopped that. Goulet digging in the corner. Comes to the other side. Gartner goes in there to forecheck. Gartner trying to get the puck, but it's brought out by Vladimir Selder. Over the line. A shot. Hits the post. They thought it was in. I saw the net folds too, but they say it's off the post. Here's a chance now in his own zone. Solder trying to set it up again for Czechoslovakia. It's cleared, but not out. Solder gets it again for Team Czechoslovakia. It's cleared into the Team Canada zone. Reinhardt. He passes it over to Craig Hartsburg. To Michel Goulet, to Dennis Marouk, to Gartner in front. And he reached out, and Kralik got there first and just steered it away. Dangerous scoring opportunity. Reinhardt touches the puck. Icing is called against Team Canada.
Vladimir Ruzicka. And did he hit the post, or did it, in fact, go into the net? It came off with the reaction that it would be a post. All right, let's see. It's cleared. Oh, this is the play here close in the Czechoslovakian end. So they're unable to get us the replay we really wanted to see.
So it's 5-4 for Czechoslovakia. We've played 14 minutes and 25 seconds here in the third period. Canada has scored just one goal in this third period, but it gets them right back into it. Sittler trying to get the puck from the side. Here's a chance in front. John Anderson lost it as he pulled in front of goaltender Kralik. Drops it back now. Ryan Engblom gets the return pass coming straight up the middle for Team Canada. Try to drop it to Anderson in front. Sittler goes after it there. Anderson digging. John Anderson of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who suffered a nasty cut under the chin, 20 stitches against Finland, but is back taking a regular.
Life rarely works out according to plan. Nobody knows that better than Debbie Myers. Widowed at 25, she suddenly found herself alone with a young son to care for. But Debbie has picked up the pieces of her life, built a career, and provided for the future. That's why she has her own life insurance plan. Her London Life representative helped design a plan that meets Debbie's very special needs. And London Life can do the same for you. Because to London Life, every life is something special.
We're heading into the final 5 minutes of this game. Czechoslovakia, Ron, holding on to that 1-goal lead, and I think Canada will pull out all the stops here.
The one thing that Czechoslovakia seems to be doing, though, Bernie, is they're fading back a bit. They're trying to protect a 1-goal lead. It can be very dangerous.
Bob Gainey trying to get the puck, swings at it. Missed, but it's kept in there by Brian Engblom, who's on defense with James Patrick, number 6. Engblom tries to get it over. Charlie Simmer, number 22. Out there with Bob Gainey. Now Marcel Dion is on the ice. Marcel Dion, the captain, goes after the puck, brings it in. Here's Gainey trailing on the play. Dion's shot is covered up by Kralik, so there is no rebound for Gainey.
Well, Dion needed a man in the slot there. He went in, and then Kralik really had an easy save to make because he just couldn't find the man. Good move by Dion with that little kick that he has. He just stepped around the defenseman, Dvorak. Now he moves in, but there's nobody in the slot for him, so he had to take the shot, hoping that Kralik would make a mistake, and Kralik hasn't made that many of them here tonight.
4 minutes and 28 seconds remain to be played in the third period. Here's a break now for Liba, coming in for Czechoslovakia. Reinhardt is back quickly to cover him. Swinging around, a shot by Poshak. And Gartner has it for Team Canada, ahead to Dennis Maruk. Gartner gets it back again, and then it's broken up. Paul Reinhardt, number 7. He clears it ahead. Maruk deflects it in. A bouncing puck. Fights the goaltender, Kralik. And he holds onto it to get a whistle. 15:57 gone in period number 3.
Which means 4:03 left. There's Pavel Richter. 9 years and nearly 400 international games. But there's the fellow the pressure's on right now. A young fellow named Yuri Kralik. Face off with Fiddler taking it now. He'll be trying to get the draw back to Doug Hallward. Or, of course, the other point man being Paul Reinhardt. Watch the way he takes this draw. It's illegal in the NHL, but he turns his shoulder into his man and controls it that way, almost interference.
Both teams at full strength. Brian Propp is out there with John Anderson as well. As Milan Halupa clears it ahead, here's Pratisak Chernik. Chernik coming in with Ruzicka, and it's covered up by Wamsley, taking no chances, holding on to it. That's what you see at the other end. Every time the puck comes near Yuri Kralik, he smothers it immediately.
Well, of course, the way to slow up a team that's trying to go on the attack, here's the shot. It would have cleared the top of the net. The way to slow up a team that's trying to get on the attack and trying to get its game in gear and get some pressure on it is just to keep getting whistles. And that's exactly what Czechoslovakia has been doing. Wamsley, in that particular instance, prefers himself to have the face-off and the control situation in his own zone.
So with 3 minutes and 53 seconds left to play in the third period, Canada has scored the only goal of this third period, and they trail 5-4. Brian Engblom to Doug Hallward. Hallward tried to get it out, almost put it right onto the stick of Miroslav Dvorak. Now it's brought in by number 24, Yuri Hrdina. Brian Engblom checks him against the boards, and another whistle, and the referee indicating it'll come outside the blue line.
Well, Team Canada is going to make a change. Bob Gainey, you saw, hard to recognize Bob with a helmet on. You're so used to seeing him, of course, skating in the Montreal Canadiens uniform without the helmet. Here at the World Tournament, of course, everybody wears a helmet.
Face-off will be outside the Team Canada line.
Now they got some offense out there, even on the blue line now with Hartsburg and Reinhardt.
And it comes back to Paul Reinhardt, number 7, gives it to Craig Hartsburg, 2 late additions to Team Canada. Once Minnesota and Calgary were eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs, they joined Team Canada in Germany. Dusan Poshak, he's checked. Cleared to an open wing, and after it there goes Edward Overa. He's hammered against the boards. Lukács sends it into the Team Canada zone with Hartsburg getting it there. Hartsburg bringing it up. We have 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the third period. The puck cleared in on an offside call.
A reminder of the next game from the World Hockey Championships here at the Olympiahalle in Munich will be Canada versus Sweden, Saturday the 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. A reminder to check your local listings. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday the 30th of April for game number 2 of the medal round.
Then, of course, on Monday, Canada will play the Soviet Union, another game to be televised on CTV. And we hope you're enjoying the telecast wherever you're watching across Canada. Here's a break for Team Canada's Dennis Baruch to Gartner. Oh, and he couldn't control that bouncing puck. Some good checking there by Dennis Baruch, sprung the puck loose. Now Michel Goulet in the corner, drops it back. Dennis Baruch, number 21, drops it for Gartner. He's checked by Chernik. Puck goes loose. Gartner still digging for it. He's hauled down. There'll be a penalty to Czechoslovakia. A holding call, and what an opportunity now for Canada on the power play. A holding infraction against Czechoslovakia, and the face-off will be in the Czechoslovakian zone.
All right, there is now 2:33 left in the hockey game. You go on a power play. Here's the play, a lost stick on the play. It's the bouncing puck. It's both Marouk and, of course, Gartner, who had the great opportunity, just couldn't control the bouncing puck. But into the corner, he's finally hauled down across the penalty.
Yaroslav Benok in the penalty box. Daryl Sittler is out there with Brian Propp, Anderson, Reinhardt, and Hartsburg. And they shift positions. Reinhardt moving to the left point and Hartsburg on the right side as they flip-flop around. Sittler will take the draw against Darius Rusnak, number 18. Both players out of position on the face-off. Now the linesman says, okay, let's go. And moving in is John Anderson. Anderson against Liba. Anderson gets possession. It's cleared and just comes outside the line. Reinhardt to Craig Hartsburg. Liba in forechecking. Reinhardt has difficulty with the pass. Now he gets it over to Brian Propp. Propp clearing it in front. Sittler goes into the corner, trying to get it back. Propp has broken his stick, heads to the bench for a new one. Hartsburg into the corner. Sittler trying to get it in front. He slipped as he attempted to clear the pass. Now it's lifted high and up into the spectators just below our telecast location here. We're just inside the Team Canada red line, almost right on the blue line. Good location, good facilities here at the Olympia Halle in Munich, West Germany.
All right, now the situation is, what about Rick Walmsley? You don't want to, we've got 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in the hockey game. 1:33 left in the power play. You'd like to get a chance, perhaps with a two-man advantage.
I think they'll keep him in there, Ron, with this much time remaining. 1:33 left in the penalty. Now the puck is brought back to the line. Craig Hartsburg getting set. Hartsburg drops it into the corner now. Here's Goulet in front. Comes off the stick. Gartner goes after it. Gives it to Paul Reinhardt. He was checked, and it's cleared out. A break now for Dusan Pashak. A shot. And that goes wide of goaltender Rick Walmsley. 1:10 left in the power play. 1 minute and 45 seconds left to play in the game. And the puck is cleared down the ice into the Team Canada zone. Took a weird bounce. Fortunately, there was no Czechoslovakian player in front. Reinhardt coming in with Marcel Dion. It's called on a delayed offside at the Czechoslovakian line. 1:28 remaining in the game. 55 seconds left in the penalty to Yaroslav Benok.
Never easy. Czechoslovakia have given Team Canada in the Canada Cup and World Hockey play fits over the years. There's been some tremendous games. I think the one that most people will always remember is the one at the Forum. Zarilla against Vachon, the 76 Canada Cup.
Brian Propp out there now for Team Canada. The pass goes behind John Anderson. Anderson with 45 seconds left in the power play. Canada, Paul Reinhardt, watched by Liba, gets the pass ahead to Anderson with Daryl Sittler. Anderson getting set. The shot goes over the top of the net. Hartsburg keeps it in. Craig Hartsburg to Sittler right in front. Loose puck, and it's backhanded down the ice. 1 minute left to play in the game. Czechoslovakia leading 5-4. Here's Reinhardt coming in for Canada. Reinhardt in front, and he was checked. Hartsburg with 15 seconds left in the penalty to Benok. And it's cleared down the ice. Walmsley out of the net. He backhands it off the boards. Reinhardt trying to get to it, and he has possession. Reinhardt for Team Canada trying to get a lead pass ahead. Walmsley trying to head to the net. 30 seconds left to play in the game. Both teams at full strength. The final 30 seconds. Here's Sittler. He clears it on the far side. Walmsley's heading to the bench, but he can't get there as the puck is taken by Pasha. 17 seconds left to play. The puck is pinned underneath the player in front of the Czechoslovakian bench, and Walmsley heading off now for the extra attacker.
Well, you know who's going to be out there now to take the draw. Walmsley comes towards the bench. Is he going to come off or is he not? He is now backing towards the face-off circle. 14 seconds remaining.
With the face-off run just outside the blue line, obviously they're going to try to slap it right from the draw, get it in there, and then the extra attacker will come out. Walmsley standing almost at the Team Canada blue line. 14 seconds left in the game. Czechoslovakia leading 5-4. There it is, slapped into the corner. Walmsley's off for the extra attacker, and that's Daryl Sittler coming out. Canada with possession in behind the net, and it's intercepted there by Cadlet, trying to get it. Canada looking for a face-off, and the game is over. Czechoslovakia holding on to defeat Team Canada by a one-goal margin, 5-4. Canada, after sloppy play earlier, settled down, Ron, and gave it all they had, and just fell short.
Well, the fact is, in the final minutes, when Canada was trying to get something going, when they had the power play, they played almost too tensely. It looked like they were just a little too hard. They were trying to make their plays. They were bouncing off sticks. They were missing passes. There's a little desperation out there, and they wind up losing the game to Czechoslovakia 5-4.
So on behalf of our producer in Toronto, Ed Murcell, our technical supervisor here in West Germany, John Coghill, this is Bernie Pascal along with Ron Roosh, inviting you to join us again Saturday when we'll bring you the game between Canada and Sweden. Then on Monday, Canada will play the Soviet Union. You're watching the World Hockey Championship.
I've seen enough to know what I like. I got my feet wet in a splash of colored light. No simple reaction, just my kind of action. I'm moving with the breeze to a simple melody in perfect harmony, right in the crest with a clear sky up above. Blue smiles along with you.
Well, it's all over. Canada lost the first game of the medal round to Czechoslovakia 5-4, and very quickly, here's how it happened. Yuri Lala scored twice in the first period, the first coming with just 14 seconds gone. Quite a shocker, got by Rick Walmsley. He's added a power play goal, but then Craig Hartsburg rounded up the scoring in the first period with a blast from the slot. It was 2-1. In the second frame, the Czechs scored 3 times. Rushnak, Cadillac, Ruzicka, and it was 5-2 after those second period of play as Gord Shervin tipped in a Craig Hartsburg shot from the point to score for Canada, and Paul Reinhardt off a face-off with a blast also finding the range. In the third period, Canada, for the first time in the hockey game, got off to a strong start to open a period, and they scored the first goal. At 3:31, Brian Propp got a good bounce, some good fortune for Canada. We were behind by just 1 goal, 5-4. But then, despite all the penalties and the manpower advantages both sides had for the remainder of the hockey game, no one could score. With his comments, John Robertson joins us once again. John, with the Toronto Sun, you've been watching the whole game. What were your overall thoughts?
Well, the irony, of course, is to lose the game on that fluke goal that went off Gainey's stick. Otherwise, Team Canada could have won it, and they could have won it not playing nearly their best. I thought that they played tentative hockey most of the game. They remind me of somebody who's like a pitcher who's been told how to pitch, and while he's in the game, he's trying to remember what he's doing right. Like here's, you got King is telling him, okay, you've got to play this style, and that they got to think on the job. Meanwhile, with the Czechs, they're out there, reckless abandon, skating all over. They know what they have to do. They've been doing it for months together. Considering the fact that this team's only been together for about 6 games, I think you can forgive some of the lapses in teamwork. And I think this club is going to get better. I think you're going to see them at their best against the Soviet Union. With a little better goaltending today, not that Walmsley was at fault, but with the big save here and there, they could have won the game 2-3 goals.
They're going to get better. They're going to hit their peak just as they play the final game of the tournament. This is Canada's problem every year.
But one of the problems, too, they're going through, and I remember King had the same problem with the juniors, is that you tell them not to take stupid penalties, okay? And they stop hitting. Because in Canada, we think of aggressive hockey as taking a run at somebody, getting a penalty. That's aggressive hockey. I think Canada's going to have to learn to walk the line between finishing their check, being physical with these guys, but not taking the penalty. Certainly, they handle themselves very well in that department. A couple of cheap penalties, but nothing serious. But what I think killed them most of all is still trying to get used to each other against a team that is out there like a national ballet company, you know, and that's what we're still spotting them. We're not beating ourselves with dumb penalties, but we don't have the glue. We're not together yet.
I want to ask you about 2 things that I want to ask the coach about when we get Tom Watt back in here. One, the timing of the measurement of the stick.
I think the timing was perfect, but I don't think the guy know how to work the device. I think he had it on the ice one time. He had it against the wall. Now, quite obviously, you've seen how these things work. They never call them unless the trainer or somebody in Team Canada's party has spotted that stick and knows the name of the player and said, this is the one you can call if you need it. So, obviously, that stick was illegal, but you could see the referee was all thumbs trying to work this thing. I think last year they had to use a coin. They're not familiar with that over there. So the call didn't work, so it backfired. But I think had the referee probably known how to work that device, it would have been a big plus. It did set them back for a couple of minutes and maybe destroyed the momentum a little, but I don't think it cost them the game.
The second factor, when do you pull your goaltender? Team Canada had the penalty, the manpower advantage with 2 minutes and 33 seconds to play. Should they have pulled him sooner?
I don't think so. I think, you know, in more cases you see that open net goal, I think 5 times out of 6. I think King did exactly the right thing. They had their chances. They had trouble getting the puck up together. If they had played it properly, they would have maybe had 2 or 3 more scoring chances. In a game like that, you can look back to about 7 or 8 different plays. The first 14 seconds, they gave away the puck for a goal, Gainey's goal. They should have won the game. But what is most encouraging to me is here you have a team, collectively, which I don't think could finish in the top 6 in the NHL. Maybe you'd have 2 of them on a Team Canada team, and yet they went out there, not only didn't disgrace themselves, they should have won the hockey game. And what it proves to me, and should prove to a lot of Canadians, is if we stop beating ourselves with dumb macho mistakes, that we can go over there with any kind of an NHL club and good coaching, and we can win.
John, thank you.
You're welcome.
5-4 the final. We'll be back with the highlights of the third period.
Black's is bigger prints and 2 free 5x7 enlargements. Black's is better quality and 2 free 5x7 enlargements.
Black's is more beautiful.
It's Black's custom photo finishing for beautiful prints guaranteed back fast. And now, get a coupon worth 2 free 5x7 color enlargements from your color negatives.
Black's is photography.
Again, the final. Tom Watt is back with us. I asked John Robertson a couple of questions. First about the measurement of the stick. Your thoughts?
Well, in the National Hockey League, John was right about the official being all thumbs and measuring the stick. In the National Hockey League, the curvature has to be measured from the heel. There has to be some reference point as to what the curvature of the stick is. And you saw Darryl Sittler motioning to his teammates and the captain, which was on, and Dave King on the bench, that they moved along to the middle of the blade. And that's where the curvature, they're supposed to put the measurement device to the heel of the stick. And any curvature then starts from the heel. And so the stick really looked questionable to me from a long way away, I'll tell you that, and it looked very questionable to Team Canada, but I think the official probably measured it from the wrong point. Whether with 10 minutes to go in the hockey game, that was the time to ask for the measurement, I'm not sure, but that's a tough question because you never know whether that guy, if you're sure, is going to come back on the ice. I mean, you gotta make sure if you think there's a stick that's illegal, you've got to wait for the right time for him to be on the ice, and that's a tough call. The second question about pulling your goalie when they had the man advantage with 2:33 remaining, I think that Dave King did exactly the right thing, because you have to remember that the opposition can then ice the puck without it coming all the way back into their zone when they're shorthanded. And with the goaltender out of the net, that gives them a free ice, which perhaps is going to go in the net. So I think he did exactly the right thing in keeping him in there. He tried to get him out with the last 30 seconds to go, but it was a little tough because they didn't have clear possession of the puck.
What highlights have you got for us?
Well, there weren't that many in the third period, except I thought it was good forechecking that resulted in Team Canada's goal. The puck goes into the end, and Daryl Sittler does a real good job digging it up, and watch it hit the official skate. Whoops, there it is. He gets the big assist, because with Sittler going in and doing the hustling and doing the forechecking, he tried to throw it out in front of the net. Now here we see the Czechoslovakian player Richter going right around Stevens. It's a 3-on-1. He goes around Stevens. 3-on-1. Engblom makes a super play here. 3-on-1, blocks the pass, and then holds it for a face-off. And then what happened? There were three consecutive penalties. But here, Scott Stevens, again, didn't want to be beaten. Here's what happens. Same play, only this time he doesn't let him go around him. He cuts him down, and it results in a penalty. And the three consecutive minors being down on the goal took a little bit away, I thought,